Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Naruto. My Clone Can Evolve. Chapter 1. It has been 60 years since the ninja calendar, and the Third Ninja World War has ended several years ago. In the world of Naruto, all countries are in ruins and waiting to be revitalized, each dealing with its own internal affairs. For a time, rebels and bandits were everywhere, and the world was in chaos. On the border between the land of earth and the land of snow, there is a small, remote village. The sky was filled with loess, flying sand and rocks, and the thick smell of blood floated in the air. There had just been a massacre here. In the thick smoke, the wooden houses and the bodies of the villagers were turning into charcoal. A roving band of rebellious ninja swallowed up this village without ninja protection like prey. All the men were killed on the spot and the women were killed after they had enjoyed it. At this moment, all the children in the village gathered in the open space in the center of the village and were surrounded by the rebels. Boss Kurosaki, all the children are already here. Well, the forbidden art and blood knife technique that I practice requires a lot of blood from young children. It seems that I have gained a lot this time. Among about a dozen children in shabby clothes, one stood out. He was about 1.5 meters tall, with a gaunt appearance and a thin build, but he had silky white hair like a ribbon. He heard the words of the rebel boss clearly, so he was trembling. Why did I encounter such a thing just after I traveled through time? Zanyu gritted her teeth, grief and anger filling her chest. He was originally an otaku who liked Naruto, but he felt dizzy while scrolling through his phone and woke up here. The memories of the protagonist of this body were also poured into his mind in a short period of time. His name is Chenying Xuanyu. Apart from the fact that the name is the same as him, there is nothing special about him. Although he has a domineering name, he is an orphan born in a remote mountain village. He has scary white hair, but there is no chakra in his body. What a complete loser. I thought I could show off my skills by traveling to the Hokage era, but I didn't expect that I would die just a few minutes after arriving. This is too bloody, Zanyu roared in a low voice, her heart filled with resentment. In his previous life, he was a small character who was not taken seriously by others. No matter where he went, he could only look up to others. But he can still survive in his own world, but now, after traveling through time, he has to become food for others to practice. So unwilling. At this moment, a cold reminder sounded in his mind. Ding! The super clone evolution system has been bound. Zanyu was suddenly confused. System. Is it the legendary plug-in system that is necessary for time travelers? System activating. Ding. Activation successful. The host has automatically awakened its only talent, Thousand Shadows Link. Thousand Shadows Link. All clone techniques acquired by the host can evolve. The clone's level, talent, and ability will all be inherited to the main body, and can be superimposed infinitely. Zanyu was stunned. Doesn't that mean that as long as one's clone is stronger, the main body will be stronger? The more types of clone techniques you master, the more powerful your main body can be to increase its strength almost infinitely. However, let alone the clone technique, I don't even know a single ninjutsu now. System, is there a gift package for newbies? Zanyu asked. Received, the novice gift package has been automatically opened. Ding. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the ninjutsu shadow clone technique in an experience book. It is detected that the host has obtained a shadow clone. The clone evolution module has been activated. Only a moment later, a virtual panel appeared in Zanyu's mind. Among the countless squares, the shadow clone's level is currently Apprentice. Do you want to use the experience book for the shadow clone? Use. Zanyu quickly ordered. Ding. The shadow clone has evolved to a Jonin. Zanyu opened his mouth. He didn't expect that he could directly evolve the shadow clone to such an extent. View the panel. Shadow clone. Level. Jonin. Talent. Physical Arts Master. Ability. 8-Gate Dungeon, Konoha Fluid Technique. Ding. The host's talent Thousand Shadows Link takes effect. The host has evolved to a Jonin. The host has obtained all the abilities of the shadow clone. Zanyu immediately felt a wave of heat spread throughout her body. He seemed to be able to hear the sound of every joint in his body. His muscles also expanded a lot in a short period of time. In just a few seconds, Zanyu has been transformed. Ha ha ha, I finally got the system. It seems that God will not kill me. Zan Yu laughed excitedly. I will make everyone who looks down on me pay the price. Only then did the traitorous ninja notice that a white-haired child among the children was laughing maniacally. Hey, what are you talking about, you little brat? Kurosaki frowned and yelled angrily. You heard it, and it doesn't matter, I didn't intend to keep you alive anyway. Zan Yu's eyes showed fierceness. Ding, the system mission is released. Kill the traitorous ninja Kurosaki and his gang. Mission reward. Water separation technique. Reputation evaluation for this battle, 10 points. Kurosaki pulled out his sword, and the blade glowed with blood. Arrogant brat, take your life and use it as food for my blood sword technique. The scarlet blade whipped up gusts of wind and struck Zan Yu's head. But at this moment Zan Yu doesn't need to dodge at all. He raised his palms like ghosts and clamped Kurosaki's sword tightly. Kurosaki was suddenly shocked. He never thought that this kid could take his knife. You know, Kurosaki has killed countless ninjas who came to die, including many Chunin and even Junin. Is this the extent of your blood knife skills? Zan Yu pressed hard with her palms, and Kurosaki's scarlet long sword was instantly broken into 2 pieces. Everyone in the audience was shocked. This kid actually broke Boss Kurosaki's blood knife. This isn't real, is it? This must be an illusion. Kurosaki himself began to tremble at this moment. You actually, is this your forbidden technique? Then Kurosaki, it's my turn next. Zan Yu finished speaking calmly, crossed her arms in front of her chest, and began to concentrate chakra. A green energy gradually filled his body. Open the first door, open it. Second door, open. The third door to life, open. The fourth injury door, open. Zan Yu felt that her chakra and physical strength were decreasing rapidly, and the burden of 8-gate Dunjia came. Fifth, Duman, open. Zan Yu's body has turned pure red, and the blood vessels and meridians are clearly visible on the surface of the skin. The scalding steam stirred up strong wind pressure, making the rebel ninjas around them even stand a little unsteady. As this moved the legendary 8-gate Dunjia, big beads of sweat fell from Kurosaki's forehead, and he already wanted to run away. But Xuanyu's kick came faster, and in an instant, the world in Kurosaki's eyes turned upside down. Shadow Dance Leaf. Kurosaki's body was kicked into the air by Zan Yu, and then he was tightly wrapped in rags by Zan Yu. The secret of Konoha Taijutsu. The Lotus Flower. Zan Yu jumped into the air and slammed Kurosaki headfirst into the ground. Just listen to a loud boom. The dust dispersed, and a large circular pit appeared on the ground. Kurosaki fell upside down in the center of the pit, with only his broken legs exposed. A pool of blood gradually spread in the pit, and Kurosaki was obviously dead. Next, it's your turn. Zan Yu looked around at the 20 or 30 rebel ninjas and said coldly. The rebel ninjas only hesitated for a second and then quickly dispersed. Run quickly. This kid is a monster. Do you think I will let you go? Zan Yu snorted disdainfully, raised her hand and used the shadow clone technique. Shadow clones equal to the number of rebel ninjas appear. Shadow clone, open the 8 gates of armor. Zan Yu thought in her mind. Each shadow clone activated the 8 gates of Dunjia, and instantly caught up with all the traitorous ninjas. Screams kept coming and going. These bandits and rebels were killed by Zan Yu's shadow clone using various cruel methods. The last rebellious nin knelt down and begged for mercy. Please spare my life. I don't want to die yet. I don't dare to do it anymore. Zan Yu narrowed her eyes. Spared you? Did you spare those innocent villagers? Did you spare those women who were tortured to death by you? The traitor was speechless, lowering his head and not daring to look directly at Zan Yu. Die. Zan Yu picked up Kurosaki's half-cut sword, and with a flick of her arm, the rebel ninja's head rolled to the ground. Ding. Congratulations on completing the mission. You will be rewarded with the Art of Water Incarnation. Gain 10 battlefield reputation points. It was detected that the host obtained a second clone, the Water Clone. Ding. The Talent Thousand Shadows link takes effect. The Water Clone has evolved to the same level as the host. The host gains all the abilities of the Water Clone at the same time. Zan Yu breathed a sigh of relief and exhaled the water body panel. Water Clone. Level. Jonin. Talent. Water Escape Master. Ability. All Water Escape Ninjutsu below A level. Zan Yu felt another subtle change occur in her body, the amount of chakra doubled, and the knowledge of water escape ninjutsu was also poured into her brain. But Zanyu noticed that she also gained 10 points of reputation. System, what's the use of reputation? Report to the host, which can be used to purchase items in the prestige store. Following the system prompts, the reputation store panel opens. Zanyu looked closely and found that there were several categories, namely, artifacts, materials, and keys. Zanyu casually clicked on the artifact category. Kusanagi sword, 30,000 points. Golden cudgel, 25,000 points. Uchiha fan, 50,000 points. 3-piece set of weasel artifacts, 80,000 points. Flying thunder god kunai, 100,000 points. There are many more behind, but the prices are even more outrageous. Afterwards, in the materials column, Zanyu learned that these were materials used to evolve clones and needed to be redeemed with reputation points. The key bar sells keys to various trial locations. However, the prices of materials and keys are not lower than artifacts, and some are even more expensive. It seems that we need to gain more reputation as soon as possible. Zanyu thought. He sorted out the current situation. He is now able to use water clones and shadow clones, and has mastered water escape ninjutsu and 8-gate armor. My strength is not low anymore. Next I should find someone stronger to challenge and gain reputation. Just as she was thinking about this, Zanyu suddenly felt a pain in her body, and her legs seemed to be filled with lead. He couldn't even stand, so he had to half kneel on the ground, enduring the pain on his body. Sure enough, you still have to pay some price for using the 8-gate Dunjia. It seems that this trick will be used as a trump card in the future. Zanyu knew that she needed to adjust her breath for a while, but at this moment, there was a rapid sound of horse hooves in the distance. Judging from the sound, there were at least dozens of horses galloping, and the number was no less than that of the rebel ninja just now. Who could it be? Zanyu currently has difficulty even moving. If the person coming is very powerful, she will be in danger. It's still too late for him to leave now, but if the gang of rebel ninja accomplices come, then these children behind him. Xuanyu-kun, are you okay? This group of children whose parents had just been killed also knew that Zanyu had saved them and wanted to help. When being helped up by the children, Zanyu was in a daze. He looked at the corpses of rebel ninjas scattered on the ground, mixed with the bodies of innocent villagers. This world of the jungle is too cruel. If you don't kill, you will be killed. Zanyu gritted her teeth. If she had the strength, she would change the world of Hokage. If you want to change, you must rule completely. Then let all injustice and all pain be eliminated. So, looking at the panicked eyes of the children, Zanyu reluctantly smiled. Don't worry, no matter who comes, I will protect you. The children cried and nodded. Then, Zanyu sat on the ground and clasped her hands together, began to condense chakra and regain her strength. After a few minutes, the sound of horse hooves slowly stopped. 30 black-haired horses galloped in, kicking up flying dust. The man on the horse was dressed in black and had a forehead protector on his head. And in the center of the forehead protector, there is a square black mark engraved. Like a piece of black coal. Captain Kageyama, we found a survivor. A man in black reined in his horse and shouted behind him. The leader was wearing a thick leather coat and a dark bandage on his face. Seeing the corpses on the ground, the man named Kageyama had anger and guilt in his eyes. We are late. When he saw Zanyu and the corpses of traitorous ninjas, Kageyama's eyes turned to surprise. He slowly drove his horse closer to Zanyu. Hey, mounted ninja, don't come any closer. Zanyu slowly opened her eyelids and stared ahead. Kageyama was stunned and reined in his horse. I'm here to help you, Kageyama said. Zanyu's body has recovered to some extent, but she still doesn't dare to slack off. Because he saw that these black-clothed ninjas were much stronger than the rebellious ninjas just now. I have never seen a ninja riding a horse. Those who ride a horse are usually thieves, Zanyu said lightly. Kid, what nonsense are you talking about? Show me some respect, a black-clothed ninja shouted angrily. Kageyama immediately raised his hand to signal him to be silent, but it was too late. Zanyu smiled and raised 2 fingers on her chest. A powerful wave of compressed water flew out from Zanyu's fingertips. Before he could react, the ninja was knocked off his horse. Zanyu's actions directly exploded the tense situation. For a moment, the black-clothed ninjas were at war with each other. Does this kid want to die? How dare he attack us? But Zanyu's ninjutsu did not stop. The water clone appeared like a ghost behind the injured ninja. A huge water ball condensed from the moisture in his body and palm, completely enveloping him in it. Seeing this scene, the ninjas in black became angry and planned to take action against Zanyu. Don't act rashly, Zanyu said coldly. A sharp water blade condensed in the palm of the water body, aiming at the neck of the trapped ninja. I heard that the longest time a human can hold his breath is 24 minutes. Zanyu said softly, but how long can your companions last? Kid, you're going to die an ugly death. The ninjas cursed. Shut up, everyone, Captain Kageyama shouted angrily, and the ninjas shut their mouths. Although they all seemed reluctant, the captain's majesty could not be ignored. Yingshan looked at Zanyu and his tone softened a lot. I have offended you just now. Can you please let my subordinate go first? At least let him breathe. Zanyu nodded and ordered the water body to leave a breathing gap in the water prison. But if you make any small move, I will cut his throat directly. Kageyama looked at the corpses. Did you kill these rebellious ninjas? Just to protect myself. Kageyama took a deep breath. Within a few seconds, the water wave, water body, and water prison techniques are all completed in one go. And you just made a seal. In the past decades, I have never seen anyone be able to do such a thing. Besides, you look only about 10 years old. Zanyu sneered, and a classic quote came to her mind. Captain Kageyama, in this world, there are many people who are younger than me but stronger than you. Kageyama was speechless. Who are you exactly? Zanyu. Thousand Shadows Zanyu. Chenying Xuanyu, my subordinates and I have no ill intentions towards you. Yingshan said sincerely. I can't believe you yet. Zanyu looked back at the children. Look, there are only so many people left alive in our village. Zanyu said, I am responsible for their safety. From the memory inherited by Zanyu, I have never seen this kind of forehead protector. Therefore, Zanyu cannot unilaterally believe in Yingshan's words regarding the origins of these people. I understand and I'm sorry that I couldn't arrive in time. Kageyama said, there have been many bandits in this area recently, and we are patrolling for this. Who are you? Zanyu asked. We are from the Tan Ninja village. We won't do anything to harm the villagers, we just want to help. Speaking of Tan Ninja village, Zanyu knew what was going on. It was a ninja village located far away from here, closer to the Earth country. The villagers here have never seen the forehead protector in Tan Ninja village, which is normal. I have indeed heard of it, but what if you are pretending? Zanyu said coldly. Kageyama was stunned. Then I don't know how to make you believe me. No, Captain Yingshan, you will be my hostage. Zanyu said, also, let all of you dismount and disarm. This is too much, Captain. We obviously have good intentions to help. A ninja said angrily. Zanyu smiled and looked at Yingshan. I think you should watch your subordinates' mouths. Stop talking and let's do what he said. Kageyama made a decision that his subordinates couldn't understand. Zanyu breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, if his body hadn't fully recovered, he wouldn't have been messing with these people for so long. If he had enough chakra, he would have the confidence to deal with these guys in an instant, without any need for hostages. Ding! The system issues a mission. Escort the children to a safe location. Reward: a set of ninja equipment, 10 experience books, and 200 reputation points. Can this also be done? Zanyu suddenly felt that her decision was justified. 5 minutes later, Tengaku and others dismounted and dropped their kunai and shurikens on the ground. You can trap me with the water prison technique and let me breathe. Kageyama said. No need. Zanyu raised her hand and cast a spell, and a rope made of water wrapped around Yingshan's wrist. Water release water whip. Due to her proficiency in water escape, Zanyu can control the form of water at will. Then, Zanyu walked towards the children and asked softly, can you ride a horse? The children nodded. Very well, go ride their horses and follow. The ninjas watched the children mount their horses, but they were unable to do anything. Zanyu patted Yingshan on the shoulder and said, let your people go in front, between the two of us, and the child last. Kageyama nodded and gave the order. So, a strange team hit the road. Doesn't this mean that one person kidnapped a group of people? Kageyama sighed. This time, the reputation of the Tan Ninja village may not be saved. Kageyama, it's time to tell me about the ninja on horseback, right? On the way, Zanyu heard a lot about the Tan Ninja village. Tan Ninja Village, a small ninja village located on the border of Earth Country. It appeared after the Third Ninja War and was established by a split of some ninjas from the Iwa Ninja Village. The entire Earth Kingdom has a rugged landscape with mountains all over the place, and transportation has become a serious problem. This is why their ninjas actually rely on horses. Despite this, Iwa Ninja Village is often too far away to take care of places too far away within the country. The area on the border between the land of snow and the land of earth is not only difficult and dangerous, but also extremely cold because it is close to the 10,000 years snow mountain of the land of snow. Therefore, Iwa Ninja Village has no control over the people here. There are rebel ninjas and robbers raging, and they can't help. Helping these helpless people on the border is the original intention of the establishment of Tan Ninja Village. Today, Tan Ninja Village relies on the surrounding coal mines to export coal to the people of the neighboring snow country, and it can also maintain internal and external expenses. This is why the village is named Tan. As a result, the size of the village also gradually began to grow, and Zanyu came to such a ninja village. We're almost there, Kageyama said. Zanyu saw a dark mountain gate standing at the end of the mountain road ahead. There was a faint smell of soot in the air. Welcome to Tan Ninja Village. Seeing that Tan Ninja Village has arrived, Zanyu no longer needs to threaten such a group of people. So he lifted Captain Kageyama's technique. Captain Yingshin, how offended I was just now. Zanyu smiled, you won't hold a grudge against me, right? No, it's okay. Kageyama was in a very depressed mood and rubbed his stiff wrist. Facing a teenage kid, he actually felt defeated, both in terms of strength and brains. The children on horseback happily rushed into the mountain gate. The ninja guarding the gate was shocked, but did not dare to stop them. Zanyu was also very relieved to see that the children had temporarily forgotten the blood feud just now. Ding! The mission is completed. The reward has been distributed. A system prompt came, and Zanyu saw an additional warehouse option on the panel in her mind. In the warehouse, there are 10 experience books and a ninja equipment gift pack, and the current reputation value is also displayed, 210. There are a lot of people now, so I'll open the gift bag later. At this time, the bearded ninja guarding the door rushed to Kageyama with a surprised look on his face. Captain Kageyama, can you explain what's going on with those brats? Oh, Yoshida, it's hard to explain in words. Kageyama said angrily, this little guy, Zanyu-kun, and I are going to meet Lord Tankage now. Sir Tankage is in the office. Don't bother me, I have to quickly arrange accommodation for those brats just now. The bearded man named Yoshida waved his hand, telling Kageyama to go away quickly. Captain Kageyama dismissed his men and led Zanyu towards Tan Ying's office. Xuanyu followed Kageyama quietly while admiring the scenery of Tan Ninja Village. The smell of soot in the air felt real to him. There are very few ninjas on the road, most of them are workers working in the mines. Despite being built against mountains and facing difficult conditions, the faces of the villagers are full of life. It's not a lifeless place. Zanyu sighed. In Naruto, Genzuki had never heard of the Tan Ninja Village before. Maybe the world of Naruto that he came to was a world that had subtle changes from the original one. Zanyu-jun, when I see Mr. Tanying later, please don't speak in an overly frivolous tone. Zanyu understood that Yingshan wanted to give him some face. Okay, but I've always wanted to ask, is there a shadow in such a small ninja village? Yingshan was speechless, but he didn't dare to make irresponsible remarks to Zanyu, so he could only walk in silence. After a while, the two came to a medium-sized building, which was slightly more imposing than the other buildings. Zanyu knew that this was the Tan Ying building. Go upstairs and enter the office. Sitting on the desk was a young woman who was carefully approving documents. Lord Tanying, I will delay you for a while, Kageyama said softly. Zanyu opened her mouth wide, slightly surprised. Didn't expect Tanying to be such a young girl. And it's also pretty. The woman raised her face when she heard this and said, Kingshin, is something wrong? I found this child in the deserted village to the west. His name is Chenying Xuanyu. Kageyama whispered, I'm afraid he has abilities such as blood succession limits, and he is a genius. The woman stood up and her expression became serious. She stared at Zanyu closely and asked slowly, what blood inheritance limit do you have, and which clan are you from? Feeling a little uncomfortable being stared at by the woman, Zanyu frowned and began to quietly distribute her huge chakra. I'm not here to be interrogated, Zanyu said coldly. The woman was stunned, and just as she was about to say something, she felt Zanyu's chakra. A tsunami-like force hit her face, making her, a charcoal shadow, calm down. Sorry, I just lost my temper. She sat down slumped. My name is Shirai Yuri, and I am the shadow of this ninja village. Yingshin knew the consequences of Zanyu being angry. But he also knew why Lily had such a big reaction to the blood succession limit. So he quietly said to Zanyu, Master Lily's parents were killed by the blood successor limiter. Zanyu nodded and said with a smile, don't worry, I'm not that easy to get angry. Ding. System mission released. Join the Carbon Ninja Village. Reward. Ninjutsu Earth Clone Technique, 2000 reputation points. Zanyu smiled. Joining the Carbon Ninja Village was his original plan. Use this as a springboard to truly engage with the world. Otherwise, even if he has no strength, he can only be an old monster in the forest. Then, he turned to Lily Kobayashi. Sir Tankage, I hope you will allow me to join your ninja village. Lily was stunned for a moment, with confusion in her eyes. This Zanyu, who obviously has more strength than himself, wants to join such a small ninja village. With his level of genius, even in places like Konoha, he is still in demand. I don't understand something, Lily said. Don't worry, I don't have any conspiracy. Zanyu smiled, if I have evil intentions, there is no need to beat around the bush. He's right, Kageyama added silently. With Zanyu's chakra fluctuations, even Lily and Kageyama combined were no match. The two of them were originally just the more powerful Jonin in Iwagakure village, and did not have cage-level strength at all. Called Tan Ying, it is actually more appropriate to call him the village chief. Zanyujun, of course we welcome you to join. I am very grateful that a strong person like you can come. Lily said sincerely. Then please give me more advice from now on, Miss Lily. When Zanyu said, Miss Lily, Lily had a strange feeling for some reason. The other person was just a teenager, but she had the illusion of blushing. Then, I will immediately arrange your accommodation and assign your team. Lily said softly. Zanyu nodded with satisfaction, and then walked out of the office regardless of Lily's embarrassment. Ding. The mission is completed. The reward has been distributed. Congratulations, the host has learned the art of Earth Clone. Ding. The Talent Thousand Shadows link takes effect. The Earth Clone has evolved to the same level as the host. The host gains all the abilities of the Earth Clone at the same time. Open the panel. Zanyu ordered. Clone of Earth. Level. Jonin. Talent. Earth Escape Master. Ability. All Earth Escape Ninjutsu below A level. Zanyu nodded. In this way, he has mastered 3 clone techniques, and his combat effectiveness has been enhanced again. And Zanyu also discovered that every time he obtained a new clone, the total amount of chakra would double. This is what the system calls infinite superposition. Next, you have to find a way to get more clones. Walking out of the Tanying building, Zanyu has officially become a member of the ninja village. By the way, the ninja equipment gift bag I got has not been opened yet. Zanyu found a deserted place and opened the gift package through the system panel. Ding. The gift package is opened and the equipment is automatically worn. Junin suit. Can enhance defense and slightly increase chakra amount. Ninja foot gear. Slightly increases speed. Unlimited ninja tool bag. Contains kunai, shuriken, flash bombs, detonating charms and other props. No need to replenish, can be used unlimitedly. Infinite scroll. Can be used to seal storage items or ninjutsu, with unlimited space. Wow, these are all good things. Zanyu originally thought that she would be given some useless ninja tools, but she did not expect that they would all be valuable. Looking at herself neatly dressed and brand new, Zanyu combed her white hair. While he was intoxicated, there was a noise at the entrance of the village. Besides Zanyu, a ninja hurriedly passed by and rushed into the Tanying Tower to report. Lord Lily, something happened outside. Lily and Kageyama hurriedly ran downstairs. Could it be that the people from Yenian village are here again? Lily asked. The ninja nodded. Lily sighed and bit her fingernails helplessly. Zanyu felt confused when she heard this. People from Yenian village came to find them, but they felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Logically speaking, Tanagakure village and Iwagakure village should be very friendly. There must be something hidden in it. Miss Lily, biting fingers is a child's habit, Zanyu said with a smile. Lily was stunned for a moment and sighed. Those people are here again. Can you tell me the details? Zanyu was a little curious. The daimyo of Earth Country have always wanted to acquire this mine, Kageyama said, because they are dissatisfied with us selling our coal resources to the people of Snow Country at such a low price. Is the price low? For those who are greedy, it is indeed very low, Lily said coldly, but the people of Snow Kingdom rely on coal to survive the winter every year. How can we increase the price for no reason? Zanyu nodded, thinking that Miss Lily did have a business ethics. What does our selling of coal have to do with Iwagakure? You don't know. In fact, when we established Tan Ninja Village, we borrowed a lot of money from Iwagakure. But the money was actually provided by the daimyo, Kageyama said. The daimyo took a fancy to the interests of the mine, and now he forces us to turn the mine over. Hand it over, otherwise we will take back the debt immediately. Zanyu immediately understood what was going on. The reason why the daimyo was willing to borrow the money was just to use the ninja village to develop this wasteland. Now that the mine is on track, they can kick these Tangakuin away through the threat of arrears. Then the mine was taken over exclusively, and all the profits were pocketed by the daimyo. As expected of a person who can become a high official, he does have some tricks. However, if they encounter themselves, consider them unlucky. That daimyo has gathered a group of strong men from Iwagakure village, and is now clamoring for us outside the village to pay back the money immediately. Lily lowered her head, hating her own powerlessness. Zanyu relaxed her muscles and bones, feeling that the fatigue from just using the 8-gate Dunjia had been swept away. Miss Lily, lead the way. Zanyu sneered, I'll meet these Iwagakure. A few minutes later, the mountain gate of Tanyan village. Hundreds of ninjas from Tanyan village gathered outside the door. Zanyu now recognized those forehead protectors. Sure enough, they were from the Rock Ninja village. The leader was a young man with a vulgar appearance and gorgeous clothes, and behind him stood a man with deep eye sockets who looked a little taciturn. Who are those two people? Zanyu couldn't help asking. He felt that the man with deep eye sockets looked familiar. Moreover, his chakra fluctuations were much greater than those of the others present. Kato, the son of that daimyo, Kageyama said. Behind him is Kiri, known as the Blast Release Ninja, who possesses the Blood Succession Limit Blast Release. Zanyu then remembered that this was the explosive escape ninja Kiri who was resurrected in the Great Ninja War. A member of the Iwagakure village demolition team, possessing the same explosive escape ninjutsu as Deidara. Hey, hillbillies of Tanyan village, the wretched-looking young man shouted, today is the time for you to hand over the mine, or, are you planning to pay off the debt at once? They are so arrogant. Yingshin clenched his fists. They have been causing trouble for how many days and they still haven't stopped. Calm down, Kageyama, Lily said, I will negotiate. Lord Onoki will not ignore this matter. After Lily finished speaking, she silently walked out of the crowd. Mr. Kato, the matter in the mine is related to the life and death of the people around us. Can we give it more time? Kato sneered. Of course not. You have delayed the payment over and over again. If you don't hand over the mine today, you have to pay. Kato said forcefully, otherwise, Iwagakure behind me will take control of this place by force. However, if we ask us to hand over the mine immediately, not only will the surrounding people be unemployed until winter, but what will happen to the people of the Snow Country? Lily said in a pleading voice. No, it just can't be done. There's no discussion about money. But the original agreement stipulated that it would be repaid in 10 years, and now it's only been 3 years. Lily said sharply. Kato spat on the ground. The money is mine. You have to pay it back whenever I want you to. Agreement? That's bullshit. My father can lend you money, so you should be grateful. These words were so unpleasant to hear that the ninjas of Tanagakure village present were a little angry. Kato snorted a few times, and then showed an even more lewd expression. It's not impossible for me to wait for a few more days, Miss Lily. Why don't you spend one more day with me for every extra day of delay? How about that? His crooked eyes were fixed on Lily, and he even wanted to reach out and touch her. At this moment, a water escape arm rose from the ground and firmly grabbed Kato's arm. Zanyu quietly walked out from behind Lily, with a calm smile on her face. What do you want to do to my Miss Lily, Mr. Kato? Zanyu said softly. This sentence made Lily blush a little, and she quickly took a step back and left Zanyu's sight. Kato's arm was controlled by Zanyu's water escape, and he couldn't break free. He was so nervous that he fell to the ground. After struggling to get up, Kato glared at Zanyu. Where did you come from, kid? Are you so disrespectful to me? I'm just a ninja. Kato sneered when he heard this. A mere ninja. You dare to attack me? Do you know who my father is? PFF'd. Zanyu was amused by Kato's words. Seeing Zanyu's attitude, Kato became even more angry and said, What are you laughing at? Sorry, your standard one-man lines really make people laugh. Zanyu sneered and said, I'm sure, you are just a trash fish. After Kato became furious, he showed a sinister expression. Okay, very good. Is this the attitude of your Tan Ninja village? No negotiation. I have to collect the debt now, otherwise my people will take care of you all. Lily didn't expect Zanyu to intensify the conflict to this extent. Zanyu blinked at Lily, indicating not to worry. For some reason, Lily felt that this young man gave her a great sense of security. So she nodded and decided to trust Zanyu. Calm down, Mr. Kato, we are ninjas, let's solve it the ninja way. Zanyu said easily. Let's have a competition and let our fists do the talking. Competition? Just you. Kato laughed loudly. I was just careless just now, I will deal with you now. Please. Zanyu made a please gesture. But Kiri caught Kato in time, and he finally spoke, I will compete with you. Kiri, you don't need to take action here. Kato said stubbornly. Kiri pushed Kato behind him and said coldly, if he wants to kill you, he doesn't need more than a second. If he wants to live, just do it yourself. Seeing this, Zanyu shook her head and smiled. The dignified explosive escape ninja hunting actually works as a nanny for a guy like this. You know my name. Of course, explosive ninja. Zanyu smiled, hunting, if I lose, the mine will be given to your young master unconditionally. Kiri narrowed his eyes slightly. But if I win, this young master and his team of nannies will not be allowed to act wild again. Young man, you will not end well if you offend the Kato family. Kiri snorted coldly, don't become arrogant just because you think you have some strength. I'm sorry, that daimyo family is just bullshit in my eyes. Zanyu said indifferently. Kiri shook his head. I've seen too many talented young people like you. Hunt sneered, people who don't know how to be humble usually die miserably. Kiri, what else do you want to say to him? Kato said, I accept. But I want to add one more thing, you lose. I will kill you in the most cruel way. No problem. Zanyu waved her hand. What's your name? Kiri began to knead his detonating clay. I don't kill people without names. Chenying Xuanyu, remember it well. Mr. Zanyu, you are so messy. Lily said worriedly. No problem. Zanyu blinked. Chenkage Xuanyu, I will remind you out of fairness. Kiri said, not even Lord Tsuchikage can catch my thunder fist head on. No matter who falls for this trick, they will definitely die. Zanyu sneered and waved to show. This insulting action made Kiri instantly furious, and the explosive clay from his fist had begun to gather. Anything hit by this fist will explode violently. Ding! The system releases a mission. Defeat the explosive ninja hunter. Reward: 100 experience books and 20,000 reputation points. Zanyu's eyes reflected the shadow of Shou's rage. This usually taciturn man finally showed his true nature. Kid, die under my explosion. Explosive escape. Mind fist. Hunter moved and his fist hit Zanyu's chest hard. His speed is also extremely outstanding among Jonin, and few people present can even catch his movements. Zanyu's eyes widened and she spat out blood with a look of disbelief. It's over, kid. Turn into fireworks for me. Lily had already covered her eyes, and Kageyama also had worry on his face. Just when everyone thought Zanyu's body was going to explode, something weird happened. Zan Yu's body began to twist, and then turned into countless rock fragments before exploding. Kiri and everyone in the audience were shocked. It turned out to be an Earth clone. Lord Tanying, did you see it? Kageyama murmured. Lily shook her head dreamily. Impossible. When did he replace him? Hunter said angrily. Hundreds of pairs of eyes are staring at him. At this time, a cold voice sounded from Kiri's ears. He could even feel the exhalation against his ears. Is it worth being surprised that I can deceive your eyes? Zan Yu said softly. Asshole. Sho punched behind him, and the explosive punch hit Zan Yu again. But this time, Zan Yu turned into a puddle of water. Is it the water avatar again? Sho said through gritted teeth, you can only hide here and there. Do you dare to come out and fight? Suddenly, Zan Yu's figure appeared 5 meters away. Kiri sneered. You are finally willing to come out. Oh, no, 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 Zan Yu began to form seals, I just thought of a good idea. Suddenly there was a strange phenomenon in the sky and the earth, and thick fog began to fill the air. Water release. Kurigakure's jutsu. Zan Yu's figure gradually disappeared into the thick fog, leaving Chu in the same place at a loss. In such a dry desert area, can the Kurigakure technique be used? Kiri gritted his teeth. What is the origin of this little brat? Is it really just an ordinary blood successor ninja? The fog was getting thicker, and Kiri could only see less than 1 meter in front of him. This thick fog can literally turn people blind. Ah! The screams reached Kiri's ears, and then there was a plop sound of falling to the ground. Next, screams appeared one after another. Kiri recognized that those were the voices of the ninjas of Iwagakure village. Chenying Xuanyu, your opponent is me. Hunting was furious, but he didn't dare to act rashly. Do you think I'll let the rest of you go? You're so naive. My goal from the beginning has been all of you. Zan Yu's voice came from all directions. Along with the screams, the breath around Kiri became less and less. Finally, it was Kato's voice. You, what do you want to do? Don't come here, my dad is. Plop, the final sound of falling to the ground disappeared. A deathly silence fell in Kiri's ears. It seemed that the only sound left in the world was his own breathing. He called the names of several companions, but no one answered. After that, he didn't dare to make a sound or move. Suddenly, Chenying Xuanyu's figure appeared in front of Kiri's eyes. Kiri almost reflexively waved and punched. Zan Yu turned into a pool of water again. Hunting is on the verge of collapse. You, who are you? I am Chenying Xuanyu, and anyone who hinders me will die. A huge waterfall rushed towards me. Kiri barely resisted, but was still rushed dozens of meters away. The waterfall split in the middle, and Chenying Xuanyu slowly walked out of it. Like a sea god, descending from the wind and waves. It's time to accept reality. Zan Yu's cold voice sounded, the art of Kurigakure. The thick fog dissipated, and the smell of blood instantly hit his nostrils. The corpses of Iwagakure ninjas were lying all over the ground. Broken limbs and flesh and blood were scattered everywhere, and human heads rolled to the ground like garbage. The soil was stained with blood, and blood flowed into rivers. The daimyo's son Kato, with only one head left, rolled down at Kiri's feet. Not even a single person alive. Kiri clenched his fists and burst out with courage from nowhere, roaring angrily, I'm going to kill you to avenge them. Can you do it? Zan Yu laughed. This sentence seemed to hit Kiri's weakness, and he was immediately discouraged. Kill me, please. Kiri knelt on the ground, his eyes completely lost hope. Zan Yu held back her smile. Kill you. Zan Yu pretended to be surprised. Wake up, I hunt you, you are already dead. These cold words were like the death sentence. Sho looked around and found that his body had been torn into pieces. Only a bloody head was left, crowded among the dead. This is impossible. Hunting's spirit had completely collapsed and he was howling loudly. Water escape illusion technique missed illusion magic prison. After Zan Yu used this illusion, Hunting fell down. Everyone in the audience watched with dumbfounded eyes as this happened. The ninjas of Iwagakure are fine, and so is Kato. It's just Kiri who is in trouble. At this moment, Chu was ignoring the eyes of the people around him, kneeling on the ground and crying loudly, barely calling his father or mother. At that time, Zan Yu said to Kiri, I just thought of a good idea. After saying that, Kiri had already fallen into the trap. Everything Zanyu saw before was a trap created by Zanyu for him. At that time, what Zanyu used was not the mist hidden technique, but the only water escape illusion technique, mist illusion magic prison. Although it is not as good as the Sharingan's genjutsu, it is still more than enough to deal with an enemy of Kiri's level. Zanyu cleared her throat, unable to hold back the smile on her face. Lily looked at Zanyu in disbelief, not expecting that he really won. And it was so easy to win. Zanyu turned to Miss Lily and said, "I think you owe me a favor." Lily blushed, lowered her head, and whispered, "Thank you, Mr. Zanyu." Zanyu turned around and faced a group of Iwa Ninja and Kato who were in disbelief. "Does your Iwa Nin's agreement count?" Kato gritted his teeth, his body shaking with anger. "But after boasting in front of everyone, it is not appropriate to break the agreement now. Because these rock ninjas behind him are just guys he bought with money. They are not under their own control, but ultimately have to take orders from the Tsuchikage." "It counts," Kato whispered reluctantly. "Ding. Defeat the explosive ninja hunter. The mission is completed, and you will be rewarded with 100 experience books and 20,000 reputation points." The system prompts came. Zanyu waved her hand and said, "Then you disappear from my eyes. That guy will wake up in a day." After Kato knew Zanyu's strength, he calmed down at the moment. After calling 2 or 3 Iwa Nin, they helped up Kiri who was crying and howling on the ground, and the group left in dejection. After the Iwa ninja left, Zanyu was immediately surrounded by a large group of Tan ninja. "What are you doing?" Zanyu was startled. "Lord Zanyu, please accept us as your disciples. Your illusions are so powerful. I have never seen such a magical technique in my life. From now on, you will be the patron saint of Tan Ninja Village." I saw a group of ninjas who were more than 10 years older than me, and they all looked up to me as if they were gods. Zanyu was also a little helpless, thinking that these charcoal ninjas really had never seen the world. How could they be so excited with this little strength? Although he is very strong, he is not so exaggerated, right? Lily and Kageyama were now completely in awe of Zanyu's strength. Xuanyukun's water escape illusion technique is probably comparable to the legendary Uchiha clan's illusion technique, Lily said. Kageyama nodded. "When I was young, I fought against Kakashi Hatake of Konoha. At that time, I was in the same situation as Kiri is today, but I fell down in an instant. After that, I was confused for 3 days and can't remember anything. Zanyu, you are really a child whose strength is unpredictable." The two of them were thankful that Zanyu was not their enemy. So, Lily walked over and said, "Zanyu, if you are willing to stay in Tan Ninja Village, this Tan Shadow's seat will be yours." Zanyu was slightly startled, not expecting Lily to say such things to him. "Zanyu, you are well deserved with your strength," Yingshin said with a smile. All the charcoal ninjas also expressed their agreement. At this time, there was a long-haired young man behind the crowd, who glared at Zanyu with great disdain. He had an angry look on his face, as if he looked down on these people who were pursuing Zanyu at all. Moreover, this man's chakra fluctuations were also very deep, which attracted Zanyu's attention. "He's just a brat," the long-haired young man snorted coldly. "Kaneki, you don't have to be so rude, right?" Lily turned her head and said seriously. "Tch." Jin Mu turned his head. Zanyu just smiled slightly on the surface, but in her heart she began to pay attention to this person named Jin Mu. "Thank you everyone, let's talk about being a charcoal shadow next time." In the evening, returning to the house, Zanyu began to check the reward she had just received. There are currently 110 experience books, and Zanyu decided to use all of them. Anyway, the newly obtained clone will directly inherit its own level, so there is no need to worry about wasting experience. Use all experience books. I saw the clone evolution panel, and my experience value was rising steadily. After a while, the experience reached its peak, but it did not break through the limit and was still a Junin. Ding! The host experience is full and you need breakthrough materials to continue evolving to the shadow level. Materials. Where can I get them? The Reputation Mall has been opened for the host, please choose to purchase it yourself. Shadow Level Breakthrough Mission Scroll, 20,000 Reputation Points. Zanyu smiled bitterly. It seemed that all breakthroughs above the level of Junin required the purchase of this scroll. He currently only has a total of more than 20,000 reputation points. Although a little heartbroken, Zan Yu bought the scroll without hesitation for the sake of strength. A pocket scroll suddenly appeared in Zan Yu's hand. Open the scroll. Ding. The Shadow Level Breakthrough Mission scroll has been opened. Please select the mission. Water Clone Evolution Mission. Defeat Ghost Lantern Shueyu. Earth Clone Evolution Mission. Defeat Deidara. Shadow Clone Evolution Mission. Defeat Metkai. Task Reward. Shadow Level Breakthrough Materials. Choose any task to complete to evolve all clones. The system prompted. Zan Yu thought to herself that it seemed that the content of the mission was related to what kind of clone she had. Ghost Light Suigetsu is a master of water escape, Deidara is a master of earth escape and explosive escape, and Metkai is a master of physical arts. Who is the mission target closest to me? Zan Yu asked. Guileng Shueyu is 125 kilometers away from the host, Deidara is 84 kilometers away from the host, Metkai is 873 kilometers away from the host. The system prompts. Zan Yu thought about it and decided to accept the defeat of Guileng Shueyu. Although Deidara was closer, he was still a little wary of Deidara's explosive escape. It's a bit risky to challenge him before you get the Thunder Attribute clone. After all, Deidara's final self-destruction is very difficult to escape. As for Kai Ren being in Konoha, that's not considered. Shueyu, it's you. At night, Zan Yu quietly slipped out of the room without anyone noticing. The ninja on guard was not asleep, but Zan Yu could easily avoid his sight. Then, Zan Yu mounted her horse and rushed towards the border of Snow Kingdom. That is the location of Guileng Shueyu. This breakthrough scroll can track the direction of the target in real time. It's 125 kilometers, and as long as I'm quick with my hands and feet, I'll be able to make it back before dawn. But Zan Yu didn't know that when he left the village, a pair of evil eyes were staring at him from behind. The horse kept galloping until snow began to slowly fall around it, and Zan Yu knew that she was coming. Until the ground began to be covered with snow, and suddenly, he felt a strong chakra fluctuation. So he got off his horse, tied it under a big tree, and hid it in a haystack full of snow. Not far in front of him, a young man wrapped in a thick coat was walking in the snow, with white hair and a long knife on his back. He didn't seem to find himself. Zan Yu recognized that it was Guileng Shueyu, a descendant of the Guileng clan. Later, he became Sasuke's right-hand man, and his water escape ninjutsu was hard to beat. Shueyu didn't seem to notice her. Zan Yu figured out how to make a sneak attack to prevent Shueyu from using the water transformation technique. The art of hydration can turn Suigetsu's body into pure water, making him immune to all physical attacks. Just as he was thinking about it, the figure of Shueyu in front of him suddenly turned into a puddle of water. Not good. Zan Yu knew she had fallen into the trap, but it was too late. The cold blade was pressed against his throat, and Suigetsu's voice came from behind. Kid, why are you following me? As expected, Guileng Shueyu used the water body as bait. Zan Yu sneered, have you discovered me a long time ago? Although it is difficult to hear the sound of horse hooves on the snow, it is not completely absent. Suigetsu said coldly, who sent you, Orochimaru? Zan Yu was stunned for a moment, and then understood that Shueyu had not been captured by Orochimaru yet. And he looked not much older than me, still a teenager. I have nothing to do with Orochimaru, I'm here to fight you. Zan Yu said with a smile. Really, I don't have time to play with the kid. Besides, you've already lost. After saying that, Shueyu cut Xuanyu's throat without hesitation. The moment the blood spilled out, Zan Yu's body turned into a ball of water mist. What? Where? Shueyu looked around and found that the horse tied to Xuanyu was missing. Could it be? Before Shueyu could react, he was hit by the raging water and flew dozens of meters away. Water escape. Water dragon bullet technique. Water escape. Great waterfall technique. Water escape. Water rushes waves. Beside Zan Yu, stood two water clones. The three figures continued to attack Shueyu with water escape, without giving Shueyu any chance to breathe. The waterfall destroyed the forest, with water dragons dancing wildly in it, and the shadow of Shueyu no longer knew where it was. But suddenly, there was a powerful slash in the water, almost splitting the waterfall. Zan Yu couldn't help but admire how good Shueyu's sword skills were. Kid, I didn't expect you to be a master of water escape, but do you think water escape will be useful to me? I saw that Shuiyu had already used the water transformation technique, and his body turned into water, making him immune to all water escape damage. The giant knife in his hand also made a slight sound. Zanyu smiled slightly and held a kunai in each hand. It just so happens that I also want to see Gui Deng Shuiyu's sword skills. Water escape. Water blade slash. Kunai was instantly injected with water escape chakra, and the flowing water blade emerged. Send your name. Suigetsu also used the same ninjutsu on his sword. Chenying Xuanyu, remember, he said softly. Very good, I will pay homage to you today next year. As soon as Shuiyu's figure moved, he appeared in front of Zanyu, and the big knife in his hand struck down hard. Zanyu crossed her two kunai and blocked the knife. When the swords clashed, the surrounding water was shaken in a circle. The two are still in a stalemate. As expected of a descendant of the Ghost Lantern clan, he is indeed a master of swordsmanship. Zanyu smiled. HMPH, I have to admit that you have a few moments. Shuiyu said. If the decapitating sword were in your hand, I might not be able to block the blow just now. Shuiyu was stunned for a moment, became excited, and increased the strength of his hands. Do you know the whereabouts of the beheading sword? Where is it? Where is my brother? Zanyu couldn't help but smile to herself when she saw Shuiyu being easily angered. Shuiyu, if you want to know about Ghost Lantern Full Moon, try your best to knock me down. When Shuiyu heard the name, he swung his sword suddenly and knocked Zanyu back. That's just what I want. Zanyu twisted her neck, shrugged her shoulders, and raised the corners of her mouth. Of course, I won't lose to you. The warm-up is over, Suigetsu. I will end this battle in an instant. You said you want to end the battle in an instant. Stop laughing so hard. Shuiyu laughed ferociously, inserted the long knife into the water, and began to form seals. Don't think that if you learn a few water escapes, you can show off your power in front of our Ghost Lantern clan. Water escape. Water iron cannon technique. Shuiyu raised two fingers and suddenly fired high-pressure water cannons like bullets. This move is the secret skill of the Ghost Lantern clan. It is one of the best in terms of speed and power. Boom, sounded twice, and a cloud of water mist exploded from Zanyu's body. Knowing that he had succeeded, Shuiyu sneered and continued to use the water iron cannon technique. His two fingers were like machine guns, constantly pouring high-pressure water cannons on Zanyu. It wasn't until his chakra bottomed out that he gasped and stopped. I'm afraid there are no scum left. Don't blame me, because you shouldn't mention my brother's name. But after the mist dissipated, Zanyu stood intact, with a calm smile on her face. How is that possible? Why are you not hurt at all? Shuiyu's eyes widened. Water release. The jutsu of the giant shark bullet. After Zanyu finished speaking, a ferocious giant shark emerged from the water. The Great Shark Bullet Jutsu is a ninjutsu that can devour the enemy to strengthen one's own strength. Thanks to your water iron cannon, my water shark has grown to this point. The giant shark, which had swallowed all Suigetsu's ninjutsu and almost covered the sky, opened its bloody mouth and bit Suigetsu. I told you, water escape doesn't work on me. Although Shuiyu was pushed back dozens of meters by the shark, he did not suffer any damage due to the hydration technique. Then, he smiled evilly. Chenying Xuanyu, although you are very strong, you seem to be unable to defeat me. As long as I maintain the water transformation technique, no matter how strong your water escape is, it will have no effect on me. When your chakra is exhausted, I will be the winner. After hearing this, Zanyu couldn't help but sneer. I can't help you. Shuiyu suddenly felt panic in her heart. Zanyu began to form seals, which were not water escape ninjutsu seals. Do you think I only know how to escape through water? The reason why I use so much water to escape is just to create a water environment. For this is the ninjutsu that will defeat you in the end. Zanyu sneered, and while jumping high, the surrounding water surface began to change. Earth escape. Yellow Spring Marsh. The entire land, along with the remaining water from the previous ninjutsu, instantly turned into a dark swamp. Shuiyu immediately used the hydration technique, but it didn't work at all. The swamp ignored his hydrated body and trapped him firmly in it, unable to move. Suigetsu has never seen such a powerful earth escape ninjutsu. How is it possible that your water escape is already so strong? Why can you still use this level of earth escape? However, as long as my whole body turns into water, I still have a chance to escape. Before he finished speaking, dense kunai fell from the sky. The kunai was nailed to the dried swamp, with a large number of detonating charms tied to the end. Zan Yu appeared with a smile on her lips. Shuiyu, as long as you move, these thousands of detonating symbols will explode. Even if you have the art of hydration, the heat released by the explosion will be enough to dry you out. Shuiyu, who was planning to struggle, did not dare to move at this moment. Sighing, Shuiyu lowered his head and said, I give up. Ding. Defeat Gui Dang Shuiyu. The shadow level breakthrough mission has been completed. Get a reputation reward of 30,000 points. The water clone has broken through to the shadow level. The talent 1000 shadows link has taken effect, and the host body, earth clone, and shadow clone have broken through to the shadow level. Zan Yu instantly evolved to the shadow level, feeling that the chakra in her body had increased sharply. Panel. 1000 shadows Xuanyu. Clone. Shadow clone. Water clone. Earth clone. Level. Shadow level. Talent. 1000 shadows link. Inherited talents. Physical arts master. Water escape master. Earth escape master. He has reached the shadow level, and his various talents have also reached the master level. At this time, there was another voice in my head. Ding. Get new physical skills. Dehu, Shishong, and Yekai. Ding. Get a new water escape ninjutsu. The art of water transformation. The art of water iron cannon. Ding. Get a new earth release ninjutsu. Earth release reincarnation technique. The information about these techniques suddenly poured into Zan Yu's mind. The art of water transformation allows Zan Yu to turn her body into liquid like Shui Yu, making her invincible. The earth escape reincarnation technique can resurrect a person's corpse without the need for sacrifices. However, in some cases, Xuanyu may still be useful. Next, it's time to deal with this water moon. Are you convinced? Zan Yu knelt down and said with a playful smile. I'm convinced, but please don't kill me, because I still have things to accomplish. Shuiyu begged in a low voice. Oh, are you looking for your brother, Guidang Manyu? Zan Yu asked. Shuiyu nodded. Zan Yu thought for a moment, the ghost lamp full moon was in the fire shadow, and he died at some point. I am not sure whether full moon will live or die at this time. Shuiyu, actually I have no grudges with you, I just came to you for some special reasons. I don't know what value I have. Shuiyu looked at this boy who was younger than him and couldn't help but feel a little shocked. I didn't expect that there was such a powerful child in this world, who was simply more terrifying than his brother Man Yu. You are the traitorous ninja of Kurigakure village, right? If I kill you, I will definitely get a large bounty from Kurigakure village. Zan Yu said. You're right. Shuiyu lowered her head silently, preparing to accept her fate. But I won't kill you. Shuiyu was stunned and raised his head. You won't kill me. Really? Well, as long as you are willing to follow me, I won't kill you. Zan Yu smiled. I am willing. As long as you don't kill me, I am willing to do anything. Shuiyu said immediately. However, Shuiyu suddenly became gloomy again. But aren't you afraid that I will sneak away or find an opportunity to kill you? You have gone to great lengths to trap me, and I won't be fooled a second time. Haha, Zan Yu sneered. Water transformation technique. Water release. Water iron cannon. In front of Shuiyu, Xuanyu demonstrated two of his unique ninjutsu. Shuiyu opened her mouth in shock, unable to believe what was happening in front of her. This is my technique. When did you learn it? Zan Yu smiled slightly. Shuiyu, as long as you follow me, I will not only save you from living this wandering life, but I may also help you find your brother. But if you dare to think that way about me again, I will kill you without hesitation. When she said this, Zan Yu's eyes exuded a terrifying murderous aura. Shuiyu couldn't help but tremble all over, and she no longer dared to hide anything from Zan Yu. Brother Zan Yu, I really admire you. From now on, Guidang Shuiyu, will be your little brother. Zan Yu nodded and released the ninjutsu that trapped Shuiyu. Let's go. Come back to your place with me first. When the matter is resolved, I will take you back that beheading knife. Early in the morning, outside Tanyan village. Kaneki's gloomy face was illuminated by the charcoal fire, and around him sat a dozen Jonin from Tengakur village. These are the elites of Tanyan village, and they all have sinister expressions at this moment. Kaneki spoke slowly. That kid Chenying Xuanyu went out sneakily a few hours ago. He will definitely come back. For us, this is a good opportunity to kill him. Are you all ready? Tengakur showed off their brand new kunai and shurikens one after another, and covered their faces to show that they were ready to go. Kaneki-sama, we are at our best. Although that brat Chenying Xuanyu is strong, he is just a child after all. Kaneki nodded. From the intelligence, it appears that he is proficient in water escape, 8-gate escape, and may even be very strong in earth escape. So, we must not let him have the opportunity to use any ninjutsu, we must kill him with one blow. All the charcoal ninjas sneered. Don't worry, Boss Kaneki, our penetration has been practiced to the extreme. As long as he uses penetration, no matter how strong he is, he can't see any trace of us. What's more, it's such a deep night. By the time he passes by, we will have already hidden ourselves and ambushed him on the road. We only need to slit his throat. And under his feet, there are countless earth escape spike traps waiting for him. When Jin Mu heard this, he smiled in triumph. If you want to blame this brat for joining the Tan Ninja village and bringing so much trouble to the daimyo. But what's even more disgusting is that Miss Lily is actually interested in him. The charcoal ninjas nodded. Boss Kaneki, that woman Lily will be your plaything sooner or later. When we kill Zanyu and she has no backer, won't we just do whatever we want to her? Hearing this, Kaneki and his men laughed loudly. Suddenly, a charcoal ninja ran up ahead. Boss Kaneki, he's here. Kaneki's expression changed and he quickly put out the bonfire. Everyone is ready, the penetration is activated. Only dozens of charcoal ninjas were seen, and their figures suddenly disappeared from the air without a trace. This is penetration, a magical invisibility technique. Go to the predetermined location to ambush. Jinmu ordered. In the middle of the road, dozens of charcoal ninjas surrounded both sides, weapons already in hand. Their kunai is coated with poison, and there are pits of spikes dug under their feet. Chenying Xuanyu, I will let you die without a burial place. Jin Mu said harshly. At the end of the road, Zanyu rode her horse forward slowly, not fast because the horse was already tired. At this moment, the flow in the air changed slightly. The next second, countless poisonous kunai came through the air. Chenying Xuanyu, go to hell. The kunai penetrated Zanyu's body instantly. In just 2 or 3 seconds, Zanyu was beaten into a hornet's nest by the kunai. Succeeded. Jin Mu and his men untied the two-un one after another, planning to step forward and chop off Zanyu's head. But just as they ran towards Zanyu, a charcoal ninja's throat was slit open for no reason. Aha! Blood spilled out, and Tan Ninja fell to the ground dead. Kaneki stopped in a hurry and shouted angrily, what's going on? Boss, isn't he Zanyu? A charcoal ninja said tremblingly. At this time, Zanyu, on the horse, turned into a young man with white hair and a knife. You are so brave, you dared to take action against me, Gui Deng Shui Yu. He had already turned into water and was not harmed at all. Shui Yu sneered and swung the knife in a semicircle arc. In an instant, blood splashed, and the charcoal ninja, who was covered in a semicircle, fell to the ground instantly. The legendary Ghost Lantern Clan. A bunch of rubbish. Why did you get it wrong? Kaneki roared and backed away. Having missed the best opportunity, he knew that it would be even more difficult to kill Zanyu. Jin Mu was about to lead his people to retreat when a cold voice came to his ears. Kaneki-kun, are you looking for me? The sound seemed to come from underground, and everyone looked at their feet. Suddenly, several Tan ninja were pulled into the earth by something. Immediately afterwards, screams came from the ground. The charcoal ninjas were pulled into the earth one by one, screamed, and then fell into silence. In the end, only the yawning Suigetsu and the horrified Kaneki were left. Chenying Xuanyu, if you are a man, come out and face me squarely. Jin Mu was so frightened that he yelled loudly. Ha 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 ha. Zanyu laughed and got out of the ground. Brother Zanyu, you've been playing for too long. Shui Yu said with a smile. Zanyu smiled and looked at Jin Mu. Jonin Kaneki, how do you think of my technique of sneaking in the soil? Jin Mu gritted his teeth and stared at Zanyu. You actually colluded with the Kurigakure traitor and killed my men. What's your intention? Zanyu sneered when she heard Jinmu knocking her down. Kaneki, stop pretending. I heard clearly what you and those so-called charcoal ninjas said. At that time, I was sneaking underground. So, I let Shueyu become me and come to meet you. Kaneki gritted his teeth and asked, how on earth did you discover all this? Zanyu just smiled. Actually, when I left the village, I felt a pair of eyes staring at me from behind. Kaneki, no one else would do this except you. You are also rude to Lily. Kaneki, a maggot like you will make Miss Lily's eyes dirty when she sees you. Hearing Zanyu insult him like this, Jinmu was furious, pointed at Zanyu and said, kid, I will definitely kill you. After saying that, Jinmu triggered the mechanism on his wrist, and a poisonous needle shot out instantly, hitting Zanyu's face. Ha ha ha, you're just a brat after all. Your combat experience is nothing compared to mine. There is no cure for this poison, just wait for death. However, there was no trace of scar on Zanyu's face. Because his face has turned into flowing water. Jinmu was horrified and said, water, the art of water transformation. Are you also from the Ghost Lantern clan? Zanyu's expression began to turn cold. I wanted to save your life until tomorrow, but now it seems that you don't deserve to live for one more second. He walked forward step by step, while Kaneki stepped back. Zanyu, don't kill me. This was all instigated by someone. Don't you want to know who is behind it? Please, Zanyu, kill me. How will you explain it to Lily? Jinmu was trembling and begging for mercy, but Zanyu had already walked up to him, grabbed his neck and lifted him up. Zanyu ignored Jinmu's words and just raised her hand to form a seal silently. Earth escape. Earth Dragon Spear. Several sharp rocks formed in the air, directly piercing Kaneki's internal organs. A huge blood flower bloomed, and Jinmu was instantly torn into pieces by the earth gun. The death was so tragic that Shueyu behind him couldn't help but be horrified. He was also glad in his heart that he did not continue to fight to the death with Zanyu. Otherwise, he will definitely die miserably. After doing all this, Zanyu returned to her normal appearance. But Shueyu was a little confused. Boss Zanyu, is this a ninja from your village? How are you going to explain it? Now that everyone is dead, if they are just one-sided words, I'm afraid it will still arouse suspicion. Hearing Shueyu's worry, Zanyu just smiled. Don't worry, of course I have a way. Continuous fighting seemed to finally wake up the ninjas on sentry duty in the village. After seeing corpses on the ground and Zanyu covered in blood from a distance, he reported to Tan Ying without hesitation. A few minutes later, Lily arrived with a team of elite Junin. Zanyu and Shueyu, on the other hand, were waiting with smiles. Lord Tanying, Xuanyu killed Kaneki. I saw it with my own eyes. The ninja on guard said in horror. But Lily glared at him fiercely, turned around and asked, is Zanyu injured? Zanyu shook her head and smiled. I'm fine, Miss Lily. Lily looked relieved. That's good. But at this time, the ninja on guard seemed to recognize something and pointed at Suigetsu. Isn't this the traitorous ninja ghost Light Shueyu of Kurigakure village? Why does Xuanyu collude with the traitorous ninja? As soon as this statement came out, the Tanin present were in an uproar and started talking. Originally, it was just Jinmu who died, but with Lily's protection, Zanyu could not be held accountable for anything. But the appearance of Shueyu, a rebellious ninja, forced them to doubt Zanyu. Everyone be quiet. Lily raised her voice before the surroundings became quiet. Then she stared at the sentry ninja and said quietly, Fujiwara, do you have to go against me? Fujiwara felt the coldness in Lily's tone and trembled in fright. But he still whispered, I just want Zanyu to explain this matter. How can you be so sure that this is the traitorous ninja ghost Toho? Kageyama couldn't help but say, maybe he's just a friend of Zanyu. I just saw him use the water transformation technique with my own eyes. Fujiwara sneered, it is a fact that Zanyu and the traitorous ninja colluded. Do you still want to protect him? Ha ha ha. Zanyu burst out laughing, interrupting everyone's discussion. Dozens of pairs of eyes were focused on him. Let me introduce it to you. Zanyu smiled and pulled Shueyu in front of her. This is my little brother, and he is also the A-level rebel ninja Kaiden Suigetsu himself. I guarantee he is genuine. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. Xuanyu, you finally admitted that you colluded with the rebels and killed Kaneki. You must be responsible for this. Fujiwara said harshly. It's not your turn to make a decision here, Fujiwara. Lily said coldly. Lord Tanying, the evidence is conclusive. Even if you forcefully try to protect him, you still can't do it. Fujiwara smiled sinisterly, and several ninjas behind him echoed his words. The scene suddenly made Zanyu feel a lot more passive. But Zanyu always had a smile on her face and was confident. Your name is Fujiwara, right? I thought you wouldn't dare to show up in public after Kaneki died. But now it seems that I still overestimated your IQ. Fujiwara was stunned for a moment, with an ugly expression on his face. He pointed at Zanyu and cursed. You, a traitor who colluded with the rebels, what are you talking about? Am I talking nonsense? Zanyu's expression became cold. Then, what do you say as a traitor who colluded with Kato Daimyo? The whole audience was shocked again. His eyes focused on Fujiwara. Fujiwara's face was already twisted with anger, making him even more suspicious. Fujiwara, is this true? Kageyama said angrily. How is it possible? Zanyu is talking nonsense, I am innocent. Chenying Xuanyu, you slander people without evidence, do you think everyone is a fool? Fujiwara said forcefully, but Zanyu shook her head in disappointment. I have no evidence. Do you think that since Kaneki is dead, no one will know that you are the mole? Then, let's let you confront each other face to face. Zanyu instantly formed a seal, and the ground in front of her began to tremble. Earth escape, corpse reincarnation technique. Just hearing the sound of rumbling, a figure crawled out from the ground. It was Jinmu who was covered in blood. The wounds on Kaneki's corpse were now filled with soil, and his eyes were empty. Seeing the earth release reincarnation technique, Lily's pupils froze. This move, I've only seen Mr. Onoki use it, she murmured. Kaneki was summoned, and when he saw Zanyu, he planned to take out a kunai and fight. But Zanyu just moved her fingers, and Jinmu was unable to move. Kaneki, we meet again. Jinmu gritted his teeth and said, Chenying Xuanyu, you are so cruel. You won't let me go even if I die. As soon as these words came out, everyone felt a chill running down their spines. Is this really Kaneki? Isn't he already dead? Idiot, Zanyu used Earth Escape to reincarnate. But I heard that it takes at least 20 years of practice to master this technique. This is so outrageous that it doesn't even require a sacrifice. It's even simpler than the conditions for reincarnation in the dirt. Everyone was amazed that Zanyu could actually use this forbidden technique. Okay, since you are dead Kaneki, let's tell everyone about Fujiwara's origins. Kaneki looked at Fujiwara in the crowd, who was already trembling and was too frightened to speak. Kaneki seemed to be resisting something desperately, but he still spoke. Fujiwara, like us, works under Kato Daimyo. We infiltrated your charcoal ninja village in order to cooperate with the Daimyo Lingwei and seize the mine. Even taking Tankage's place and letting the village be controlled by Kato Daimyo. We ambushed Zanyu, trying to kill him and weaken your strength. But, we were all killed by this monster. After finishing speaking, everyone's faces were filled with shock. And Fujiwara completely exploded. No, stop joking, Kaneki. You fool, you want to frame me even if you die. We clearly promised not to betray each other until death, but you actually. At this point, Fujiwara realized that he had let something slip, and his eyes completely lost their life. Idiot, I am under Zanyu's control and must act according to his instructions. Jinmu said coldly, now that the plan has failed, it's our fault. It's our fault for not provoking this monster. Yes, this is the Earth Escape reincarnation technique. Zanyu smiled. Things have become clear. Lily looked at Fujiwara coldly and said, what else do you have to say? Fujiwara shook his head and said nothing. Jinmu, kill him. Zanyu said softly. Kaneki was stunned for a moment, but unable to disobey the order, he walked towards Fujiwara step by step. A scream was heard, and Fujiwara turned into a corpse. Brother Zanyu, you are really amazing. Can I learn this Earth Escape move? Shui Yu was like a fanboy, her eyes shining brightly. Haha, let's see if you have enough Earth Attribute Chakra. Zanyu said. At this time, Lily stepped forward and gently hugged Zanyu in front of everyone. Jun Zanyu, I'm sorry. Because of my negligence in employing people, I almost harmed you. Seeing tears in the corners of Lily's eyes, Zanyu also patted her back gently. Don't worry, am I fine? Lily let go of Zanyu, her red eyes made people feel sorry for her. Zanyu-jun, can I ask you a favor? Ahem. Zanyu was afraid that Baihe would be too intimate with her and attract a lot of hatred. Although he is not afraid of anyone now, he is afraid of trouble. Baihe also blushed and slowly took 2 steps back. Miss Baihe, of course I am willing to help. But can you first arrange a place for my little brother to live? Zanyu pointed at Guideng Shuiyu beside her and said. Shuiyu smiled awkwardly and said hello to Baihe. Baihe smiled and said, as long as you are Zanyu's friend, we welcome you. However, some people are still reluctant. Why, don't you believe Zanyu? Zanyu came to the village and helped us overcome many difficulties. We don't feel grateful at all. Isn't it a bit outrageous? Baihe's words made those who objected bow their heads in shame. After working for a long time, Zanyu finally returned to the room and felt a little tired. First rolling in the snow, and then drilling into the ground, 2 battles consumed a lot of chakra. But if you can successfully evolve, no matter how hard it is, it's worth it. Now that I have 30,000 reputation points, it's time to buy an artifact. Zanyu opened the reputation mall and saw the items currently available for purchase in the artifact panel. Golden Cudgel, 25,000 reputation points. Kusanagi Sword, 30,000 reputation points. The Golden Cudgel is a weapon channeled by the 3rd generation, while the Kusanagi Sword belongs to Orochimaru. As expected, the Kusanagi Sword is more suitable for me. Ding! The purchase was successful. The Kusanagi Sword has been placed in the space scroll. Zanyu took out the space scroll and channeled the Kusanagi Sword. Taking advantage of the darkness, the sword blade emitted a cold light, and the hilt of the sword wrapped around your hand like a snake. After waving it twice, Zanyu felt it was very smooth. Ding! It is detected that the host obtains the Kusanagi Sword. Obtains a hidden clone. The Master of Swordsmanship. Master of Swordsmanship. This clone masters all swordsmanship. Clone. Swords clone. Level. Shadow level. Talent. Sword master. Ability. All sword skills in the world. Zanyu felt countless swordsmanship knowledge pouring into her mind, and her strength increased again. Stroking the sharp Kusanagi sword, he couldn't wait to try the sword master and the power of this sword. At this time, light footsteps suddenly came from outside the door. Zanyu quickly put the Kusanagi sword into the scroll and stood up lightly. Zanyu-jun, are you there? Miss Baihe's voice came. It turns out to be her. Zanyu thought another one was here to die. Zanyu quickly opened the door, only to see a sight that made her blood boil. Baihe changed into a gorgeous cheongsam and seemed to be wearing makeup. Ms. Baihe. Zanyu licked her lips, not knowing what to say. Baihe blushed for a while, lowered his head, and whispered, can you let me in? Although Zanyu's body is only 12 years old, the boys in this world are all taller and taller. Although Baihe is already in his early 20s, he is only a little taller than Zanyu. Please come in. Under the moonlight, the blush on Baihe's cheeks looked even more delicate. She was originally a very good-looking woman, but as a tan shadow, she usually had a sullen face, so it was difficult for her beauty to show off. Jun Zanyu, I came here to repay you. When she said this, her voice was like a cat's paw tickling Zanyu's heart. Zanyu quickly took a sip of cold water to suppress the evil fire in her stomach. Miss Baihe, have I done anything to make you happy? Zanyu asked. Baihe smiled sweetly and began to talk. Actually, I have suspected Kanaki's gang a long time ago. They organized a small group in the village. Although I am a carbon shadow, in their eyes, I am just a puppet. I'm scared every day. I don't know when Jinmu will send someone to kill me, or... Zanyu knew what Jinmu wanted to do. He was greedy for Baihe's beauty, so he became jealous and rushed to kill herself. Thinking of this, it is indeed not easy for a woman to marry in such a power struggle. If he hadn't suddenly appeared, I'm afraid Tan Ninja Village would have been eaten away by the daimyo's moles. I'm afraid Baihe will also fall into Jinmu's hands. But Zanyu calmed down. Miss Baihe, if you are grateful to me because I killed Kanaki's gang, then you are wrong. I killed him just because he wanted to kill me. This is the way the world is. If you don't kill someone, you will be killed. I didn't do this for you. If I concealed this and accepted your favor, I would feel uneasy. He was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Zanyu to say such words. Although in her eyes Zanyu was a young man who was decisive and fearless. However, he didn't expect that he would have such a mature and sophisticated side. What is certain is that Zanyu is different from most men she has met. So, he smiled softly, then stretched out his arms to hold Zanyu. Do you really not want anything in return? Zanyu took a deep breath and felt he exhale in her ear. Is this woman drunk? In this situation, wouldn't it be disrespectful to not do something? But Zanyu has no plans to do such a thing at this time. Seeing he getting closer and closer, Zanyu felt that she could no longer control herself. Sorry, water escape illusion. In just a blink of an eye, he was controlled by Zanyu's illusion, his body went limp and he fell into a drowsy sleep. Zanyu didn't create any terrible dreams, just ordinary good dreams that allowed her to have a good sleep. Oh, it seems the bed is unusable. Zanyu got up after getting dressed, covered with a quilt, closed the door and left the room. Shuiyu was waiting for him outside, looking at him with amusement. Have you heard everything? Zanyu asked with a look on her face. Brother Zanyu, I just want to guard the door for you. Besides, I live next door. Shuiyu pointed to her room. Zanyu didn't pay much attention, he didn't do anything anyway. Brother Zanyu, can you tell me what you know about my brother? Seeing that Zanyu was in a good mood, Shuiyu asked tentatively. Zanyu smiled. Actually, I don't know where he is now, but what I am sure of is that he will not die like this. But if it drags on for a while, it will be hard to say. After listening to this, Shuiyu also lowered his head with complicated emotions. Suddenly, he raised his face and said nervously to Zanyu, Brother, do you feel it? Zanyu raised the corners of her mouth and nodded. An extremely domineering chakra appeared in the air in the Tan Ninja village. A huge white bird was hovering, and on its back stood a young man in black robes, with blonde hair covering half of his eyes. It seems that I can't fall asleep so easily tonight. Zanyu sneered. Is this person Deidara? Suiyu suddenly spoke, looking a little nervous. Suigetsu, who was also a rebellious ninja, was quite afraid of Deidara, a super S-level rebellious ninja. When he entered the Kingdom of Earth, he secretly decided not to provoke Deidara. Deidara, why are you here? When she first started the evolution mission, Zanyu knew that Deidara was not far away from her. But I didn't expect that he would break into Tanyan village directly. What was his purpose? Ding. The system issues a mission. Defeat S-class rebel Deidara. Reward. Clay clone technique, 50,000 reputation points. At this time, Deidara waved his arms and summoned several giant clay birds in the air. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect there to be such a small ninja village. Just blow it up and it will disappear. Let me, Lord Deidara, give you a small art exhibition. The white clay was chewed continuously by Deidara, and soon, densely packed clay giant birds filled the sky. But suddenly, an extremely fast wave of water swept across, splitting dozens of giant birds into two instantly. Water escape. Water breaks the wave. The destroyed giant bird exploded in the air, harming no one. Who is it, interfering with my art? Deidara said coldly. Zanyu flew into the sky on a rock and floated steadily in front of Deidara. This is the super light heavy rock jutsu. How do you know old Onoki's tricks? As his own teacher, Deidara was naturally quite familiar with this technique. It can reduce the gravity of rocks and fly in the air. Deidara, have you already joined the Akatsuki organization? Then, Scorpion should come with you, right? Zanyu had a smile on her face and was not nervous at all when facing the rebellious ninja Deidara. If it was before defeating Shuiyu, he would still be afraid. But now that he has reached the shadow level, Deidara, he has the confidence to give it a try. How do you know so much? Deidara looked serious. Speak quickly, or I will blow you up. There are a lot of people here, I think we should change places. Zanyu looked at the carbon shadow village at her feet and knew that a fight with Deidara would result in heavy casualties. Deidara smiled ferociously after hearing this. Hey, are you worried about these villagers? Then I have to fight here. After saying that, Deidara pinched out countless detonating grasshoppers at the speed of light and sprinkled them towards the Tanagakure village at his feet. However, countless figures of Zanyu suddenly appeared in midair. Earth escape. Multiple earth flow walls. Zanyu had already deployed countless earth clones to prepare Deidara from destroying the entire village. I saw that the dense earth current wall almost completely enveloped Tanyan village. Even Deidara's explosion could not easily break through. 2 Liubi, this size. Deidara was speechless. He had never seen anyone able to use so many ninjutsu with their clones. But he immediately sneered, "But you must have consumed a lot of chakra." Zanyu smiled and did not deny it. In order to completely seal Tanyan village with the earth current wall, he had used up almost half of his chakra. But if you think that this little earth escape can hinder my art, you are wrong. C2. Dragon. A giant white clay dragon appeared, many times bigger than the giant bird. The dragon keeps spitting out explosive clay bombs, and the earth flow wall has begun to show damage. As expected, Deidara, so let's fight somewhere else. Zanyu smiled. I told you, I don't want to change places. Deidara smiled ferociously. Zanyu crossed her arms and began to gather chakra. It's not up to you. 8 gates of Dunjia. The 7th gate of Jingmun, open. Blue steam exploded from Zanyu's body in an instant, and the huge Zakla directly shattered the giant bird Deidara was riding on. What? 8 gate Dunjia? Deidara asked in surprise. The next second, he was hit by a blue flash, and his body began to lose control. Zanyu grabbed Deidara's head with one hand and pushed him hundreds of meters away in an instant. In the night sky, a blue light kept moving towards the outside of the village, and then slowly stopped after about a few kilometers. Deidara was severely thrown off by Zanyu, and his body rolled dozens of times before he stopped. It hurts me to death. The clay covering Deidara's surface had fallen off under this series of twists and turns. This was his method of self-protection, but it was so easily destroyed by Zanyu. This wasteland is very suitable for us to fight. Zanyu has released the 7-door state. He cannot maintain the 7 gates for too long, otherwise his body will still be damaged. But just 2 or 3 minutes were enough for him to take Deidara out of the village without affecting too much physical strength. Water escape, earth escape, physical arts. How come you, this kid, know everything? Deidara struggled to get up, his whole body feeling like it was falling apart. We don't have to waste time with each other. Tell us your purpose, Zanyu said. Deidara was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Haha, Chenying Xuanyu, it's okay to tell you. The guy from Yenian village will pay for your life and that poor village's life. As for our Akatsuki organization, as long as we pay enough reward, we will kill even a brat like you. Are you right, Scorpion? Zanyu's eyes flashed, and she stepped back. Various hidden weapons had been nailed to the place where she had just been standing. A scorpion with the appearance of Fei Liu who suddenly appeared, with a long tail on its back, which was very eye-catching in the night. The Akatsuki organization never acts alone. Chenying Xuanyu, your death has come. Facing 2 of our Akatsuki members, even the tailed beast Jinchuriki will not be able to escape death. Deidara smiled ferociously and pronounced Zanyu's death date. Zanyu sneered. You are so naive, do you really think I am a person? I saw a stream of water slowly overflowing from Zanyu's body, and then gradually transformed into a human form. The ghost lamp and water moon appear. As the art of water transformation hidden in your body. Xie said slowly. Ghost light Suigetsu. Deidara was stunned. Why do you, a rebellious ninja, hang out with him? If you want to take action against Brother Zanyu, you have to ask me first. Shui Yu sneered. Ha ha ha, I don't know what you think, but a guy like you can only get in the way here. Deidara casually recalled the explosive bomb and blew Suigetsu away. However, that is just Suigetsu's water avatar. It's so dangerous. His clay bomb can restrain me. Shui Yu whispered. Zanyu took out the scroll and channeled the Kusanagi sword. Shui Yu, I'll lend you this sword for 10 minutes. Zanyu smiled. I'll leave the scorpion to you. Before I take care of Deidara, don't die in the hands of Scorpion. Suigetsu, who held the Kusanagi sword, immediately felt the special power contained in this sword. This sword is no less powerful than the Kurigakure 7 ninja swords. Suigetsu said in shock. When Deidara heard this, his expression became ugly. You actually said you would kill me within 10 minutes. Chenying Xuanyu, I must engrave art firmly in your mind. Oni Deng Suigetsu pulled out the big sword behind him and formed a two-sword style with the Kusanagi sword. Possessing the art of water transformation, he was not at a disadvantage when faced with the red sand scorpion, which mostly attacked physically. Xuanyu knew that after getting the Kusanagi sword, Suigetsu would be able to hold off Scorpion for at least a while. Then he would have time to deal with Deidara as soon as possible. I will kill you in an instant. Deidara snorted coldly. C4. Garuda. Deidara ate a mouthful of explosive clay and spit it out. The clay suddenly transformed into a human form and began to expand in front of Zan Yu. During the expansion process, countless explosive particles were also emitted, making Zan Yu unable to get close. C4. Garuda is Deidara's famous ninjutsu. Almost no one can escape from this move. Zan Yu did not dare to neglect and quickly formed the seal. A whole row of earth clones surrounded Deidara and the Garuda dolls. Escape. Earth flow city wall. The ground beneath Deidara and the doll's feet was instantly lifted into the air. You want to use this move to send me high into the sky and avoid my explosion. Deidara reached out and touched the rock at his feet and said, Earth escape. Earth flow river. The rocky ground created by Zan Yu was turned into a quagmire by Deidara using ninjutsu. Deidara and the doll also fell down. But at this time, C4. Garuda is about to explode. Once it happens, everything within a few miles will be reduced to scorched earth. Haha, Deidara is indeed a master of earth escape and explosive escape. However, you, Garuda, are nothing more than a child's toy in front of me. Zan Yu summoned a lot of water bodies and formed seals quickly. Water release. Water prison shark dance technique. A vast ocean instantly enveloped Deidara and the C4 dolls, forming a huge spherical water prison. This is Kisami's famous ninjutsu, and its range is stronger than any of Deidara's explosions. Coupled with the blessing of Zan Yu's countless water avatars, this trick has reached an almost unbreakable level. This water escape, Deidara instantly fell into the water and couldn't breathe. In this spherical water prison, there is an underwater world made of water. At this time, C4 Garuda also exploded at the same time. However, the water prison alleviated the impact of this horrific explosion. This move really consumes chakra. Zan Yu gasped and gradually recovered her chakra. How can Deidara, who is imprisoned in the water, escape from his trap? Zan Yu couldn't help but sneer. Suddenly, there was a sudden movement in the ground behind Zan Yu. Deidara, who was soaked all over, suddenly emerged from the earth. Cough cough cough. Deidara choked out a lot of water. Although he was embarrassed, he was not dead. The art of Earth Dragon Hidenis. You can travel between the earth, so you can escape from my huge water prison. Zan Yu said with a smile. Asshole, let me show you my ultimate art. Deidara, who was teased, fell into true anger. He had already ignored his companion Scorpion and planned to use his own self-destruction. Do you think I can't see that you are just a clone? Zan Yu sneered. He knew Deidara's tricks very well. He would first make the enemy panic with words, and then quietly use his clone to self-destruct instead. Being seen through by Zan Yu, Deidara was shocked. He didn't understand why every move he made was planned by this brat. So, his body slowly walked out of the woods and stared at Zan Yu. I have learned your art, so let me show you my final art. Zan Yu's heart felt cold. He knew that Deidara was really going to self-destruct now. Suigetsu. Kusanagi sword. Upon hearing this, Suigetsu quickly threw away the Kusanagi sword in his hand. Zan Yu caught it with one hand, and then made a motion to draw the sword. Stupid guy, what's the use of a sword in front of my self-destruction? Deidara sneered. C5. The ultimate art. I saw that Deidara had already eaten the explosive clay. Once the clay reached his heart, the explosion would be unstoppable. But Xuanyu seized this opportunity. In an instant, he had opened 7 doors. Blue steam explodes from the body. His speed and strength have reached their peak in a short period of time. The sword master talent takes effect. The secret of swordsmanship. A flash. The Kusanagi sword flashed like an arc in the night, and Zan Yu passed through Deidara in an instant. Deidara's body shook, and then he spat out a mouthful of blood. Why, how could it be so fast? Then, his head slowly fell, and the piece of clay that had been eaten into his body did not even reach his heart. Therefore, the explosion naturally cannot be completed. Ding! Defeat Deidara, the mission is completed. Reward a clay clone and 50,000 reputation points. Zanyu looked at Deidara's body and couldn't help but feel a little pity. But if he doesn't take action, he will die. The world of ninja is like this. Ding! The host has mastered the clay clone. The Thousand Shadows link has taken effect, and the clay clone has evolved to the shadow level. Clone, clay clone, level, shadow level, talent, explosive escape master. Ability, all explosive escape ninjutsu. Having gained another clone, Zanyu was naturally very satisfied. After possessing Deidara's explosive escape ability, his destructive power has truly increased significantly, and he no longer needs to be afraid of anyone. Brother Xuanyu, save me. Suigetsu, who did not have the Kusanagi sword, began to be chased and beaten by Scorpion. Scorpion breathed fire and discharged electricity, and Shueiyu's water transformation technique didn't have much effect. C2. Dragon. Without saying a word, Zanyu used Deidara's special ninjutsu. Zanyu's clay clone has a mouth like Deidara's on both hands and heart. Therefore, clay can be used to create explosives via clones. Escape. Xie didn't expect Zanyu to be able to use Deidara's ninjutsu, and was suddenly overwhelmed by the dragon's explosion. Scorpion, with half of his body blown off, was surrounded by Zanyu and Shuiyu, unable to escape even with his wings. Deidara, it's so ugly that you died without even being able to complete the art of a moment. Sure enough, it is still eternal, it is the real art. Xie sneered, and then looked at Zanyu. Did you capture Deidara's ninjutsu? That's not what the Sharingan can do. What are you doing? Zanyu smiled. I think, Red Sand Scorpion, you should explain first, who wants my life? Scorpio nodded. It doesn't hurt to tell you. The daimyo of Earth Country, not only Kato, all want the life of Tanigakure and your life. If you think that the Tsuchikage can decide everything, you are too naive. After listening, Zanyu said nothing, just raised the sword in her hand. Scorpion, it's almost time for you to show your true abilities, right? Haha, Chenying Xuanyu, people like you are an obstacle to the Akatsuki organization. Do you want to join Akatsuki and take Deidara's place? Sha asked. Sorry, not interested, Zanyu said coldly. Then our Akatsuki organization will try our best to get rid of you. Don't think that you are already invincible. Xie Yin laughed. I'm sorry, the Akatsuki organization will never know about my existence. Xiao, you don't think that I will let you go back alive, do you? Zanyu sneered and put the sword against Xiao's neck. He knew that Xiao's body was hidden in this body. Sorry, Chenying Xuanyu, you can't kill me. Xie Yin said pitifully. Because my body is not here. After saying that, Scorpion's body began to tremble, as if it was about to explode. Hydration, Zanyu said quickly. The two of them used the water transformation technique together to avoid being affected by the explosion of Scorpion's puppet. The countless poisonous iron nails shot out by the explosion would have disastrous consequences once they were rubbed. Chenying Xuanyu, we will meet again sooner or later. At that time, I will let you see how big the gap is between me and Deidara's boring art. Before that, I will spread your reputation on your behalf. The Scorpion puppet's head lost its life after speaking its last words. It seems that Scorpion used some method to allow this puppet to be operated remotely. Facing the threat from the Xiao organization, Zanyu just snorted coldly. Come anyway. A few minutes later, Suigetsu buried Deidara's body and made a simple tombstone. I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Zanyu smiled. After all, we are both rebels and are homeless. Shuiyu whispered, Boss, you won't be angry, right? Zanyu shook her head. The Akatsuki organization has set its sights on me, and the daimyo of Earth Country will also try to get rid of me and follow me. Aren't you afraid that you will die? Shuiyu shook her head. If you don't show mercy, I will be dead by then. Besides, with your strength, Brother Zanyu, you will definitely not be afraid of those guys. Zanyu nodded with satisfaction. To fight these people secretly, I'm going to create a new organization. We must continue to expand our strength in the name of this organization. Shuiyu listened and quickly agreed. What a great idea, Brother Zanyu. What's the name of our organization? Name it after me. Zan Yu said, it's called the U Organization. On this night, the organization, month, was officially established. The next day, Tanying Lily woke up with a blush and found that she was sleeping on Zan Yu's bed. The countless earth flow walls in the village told her what exactly happened. Sir Tanying, I couldn't find you anywhere last night. I didn't expect you to be in Zan Yu's room. Kageyama said awkwardly. Don't mention it, Kageyama. Lily said coldly, what happened last night? When Kageyama recounted it, he still found it incredible. Chenying Xuanyu. He single-handedly killed the traitorous ninja Deidara and forced Scorpion to escape. And no one in the village was injured. Hearing the news, Lily couldn't believe her ears. Deidara and Scorpion are both famous S-class rebellious ninjas in the Akatsuki organization. Anyone who comes here can easily destroy this ninja village. But Zan Yu did. It seems that Mr. Xuanyu is indeed a nobleman of our village. Lily said lightly. At this time, Zan Yu walked in slowly. Miss Lily, how did you sleep yesterday? He smiled. A trace of blush flashed across Lily's face and she nodded silently. Kingshan, I have something to say to Lily. Zan Yu motioned to Yingshan to leave. Kageyama did not hesitate and quietly retreated. Lily thought Zan Yu wanted to make up for what she had not finished last night. Now I feel a little uneasy because although Lily is in her 20s, she is still a girl. Miss Lily, why are you blushing so much? Zan Yu was stunned. Ah, Lily said as if she was just waking up from a dream. I came here because I have something important to tell you. Later, Zan Yu told Lily the information from Xie. Those daimyo really regard Tanagakure village as a thorn in their side. After hearing this, Lily's expression was also very serious. Zan Yu smiled and rubbed Lily's hair. But don't worry, no matter who they come, I am confident to kill them. It's just that I can't continue to stay in the village, otherwise I will bring you endless trouble. I can protect you once, but there will always be times when I fail. Hearing that Zan Yu was leaving, Lily's eyes immediately turned red. But if you leave, what will we do if the enemy attacks? I'm very scared. So, I want to keep Shui Yu here. Zan Yu said with a smile. Wei Deng Shui Yu, will he be willing to protect us? Lily was stunned. Don't forget that he is my little brother. Zan Yu said. It's just that his current strength is not enough. I need to help him retrieve a few things so that he can have enough power to protect you. Although she was very reluctant to give up, Lily still respected Zan Yu's decision. Zan Yu didn't want to say goodbye to Lily so soon, after all, her beauty was also first-rate. But at present, it is more important to quickly improve the strength. Otherwise the Akatsuki organization will be prepared next time, and he will be in danger. Why are you crying? It's not like I won't come back. After saying that, Zan Yu hugged Lily and kissed her lightly on her thin lips. This kiss made Lily's cheeks heat up and turn as red as an apple. Is this your first kiss? Zan Yu was stunned. Lily nodded silently. Zan Yu was also embarrassed. As a tan shadow of a village, she was actually a big sister with a pure heart. Zan Yu, before you leave, do you still remember that I asked you for help? Lily asked. Yeah, I remember. Actually, I asked you to use the Earth Escape reincarnation technique to resurrect my parents. I just want to ask clearly, by whose hands they died? Zan Yu was startled, then nodded. They were buried in Yenian village. If you have the opportunity to pass by there in the future, please help me ask. Lily said. Okay, let's go. I'm afraid if I look at you one more time, I'll feel reluctant to leave you again. Lily ignored Zan Yu and just turned her head away, silently wiping her tears. Zan Yu said nothing, quietly closed the door and left the room. Goodbye, Miss Lily. A few minutes later, at the entrance of the village, the tan ninjas lined up in 2 rows to see Zan Yu and Sui Yu off. Master Xuanyu, what should we do if you leave? You have saved us too many times, and I haven't thanked you properly yet. Facing these voices, Zan Yu was also a little embarrassed. He really didn't mean to save anyone, he just didn't want to see others die in front of him. And everything he did was done for his benefit. Zan Yu, just a few days have been like a dream. Yingshan smiled. The first time I saw you, I knew your talent was extraordinary. Take care. Zan Yu smiled and said lightly. The Kingdom of Water, the Hidden Mist Village. After a few days of hard work, the two finally arrived. Zanyu knew where to find the 7 legendary ninja swords. According to the memory of the original work, there are actually only 4 of the 7 ninja swordsmen of this generation. They are Mochi Zabuza, Onido Mangetsu, Ringo Rain Yuri, and Dry Persimmon Kisame. Among them, 4 ninja swords are in the hands of Ghost Light Man Yu. Of the above 4 people, the best one to look for is Momochi Zabuza. If Zanyu remembers correctly, Zabuza and Haku will soon arrive in the country of waves. Brother Zanyu, I am very familiar with this place. After all, it is the place where I was born. Shui Yu said, the 7 ninja swordsmen have already defected from the village. In front of the village, Zanyu suddenly stopped and sneered. As expected, we are in the blood mist, and the welcome ceremony is really warm. In the thick fog, 40 or 50 figures emerged. They wore Kurigaku's forehead protectors on their heads, but they were very unfriendly. Gui Dang Shui Yu, how dare you come back? Then, we will exchange your head for the bounty. Zanyu smiled and said, it seems that your popularity is quite high. Where is the 4th Mizukage? Do you all openly attack people who enter the village like this? Suigetsu snorted coldly. Haha, this is of course under the instruction of Master Yagura. You 2 little brats, please accept your fate. The Kurigaku ninjas all rushed forward with swords in hand, including many masters of ninjutsu. Zanyu sneered, moved her fingers, and countless water bodies suddenly appeared. Ah! Countless screams sounded one after another. The water avatar appears behind the enemy like a ghost and easily slits their throats. To deal with these miscellaneous fish, Zanyu doesn't even need to use ninjutsu. What a rabble! Yagura, it's time to wake up. Zanyu sighed, stepped over countless corpses, and walked into the blood mist without fear. The 4th Mizukage Yagura was controlled by Obito's genjutsu for a long time, which caused the Kurigaku village to fall into chaos. At this time, a loud noise came. Several prominent rays of lightning fell from the sky, surrounding Zanyu and the others. Thunder. Thunder attribute chakra is Suigetsu's nemesis, so he is always nervous when seeing thunder and lightning. The person who came had red hair and was holding a pair of thunder swords. It was none other than Yuri Lin, a member of the ninja swordsmen. Who broke into my hunting ground? When Shueyu saw Lin Yuri, he immediately recognized him. You are a brat from the Ghost Lantern clan. Ringo sneered, you came here to spy on my thunder blade, right? So what? Shueyu said angrily, not only do I want your knife, but I also want you to tell me the whereabouts of my brother. Ghost Lantern Full Moon, he is already dead. Ringo waved his swords, and countless thunder and lightning struck at the 2 of them. Earth escape, earth flow wall. Zanyu didn't even make a move to connect the seal, so she summoned the earth flow wall and absorbed all the thunder and lightning. Lin Yuyu, I really didn't expect that I would meet you so soon. Zanyu sneered. I will accept your thunder blade fang. Ding, the system has released a mission. Defeat Lin Jiaoyu Yuri, reward the thunder clone, and gain 40,000 reputation points. The system prompted. Lin Yuyu sneered, raised the thunder knife, and said, arrogant brat, it seems that you are the guy who has been rumored in the ninja world recently. The clone ninja known as the Thousand Shadows Phantom. Hearing the nickname, Thousand Shadows Phantom, Zanyu was stunned, what is going on? He suddenly thought that before Xie blew himself up, he had said that he wanted to spread his reputation. It turns out that this is what it was referring to. You actually gave me such a nickname, that guy Xie. Zanyu laughed, but it's not bad. Lin Yuyu showed a cruel smile. Chenying Phantom, if I take your head, I can get more than 500,000 taels of money on the black market. It's 10 times more powerful than the ghost lamp and water moon over there. This is the first time I've seen the Akatsuki organization pay for people's lives. You will die by my sword. Zanyu sneered, and countless waves surged in her palm. Water release. Giant shark bullet technique. This is the Kurigaku village, and there is plenty of moisture in the air. Zanyu's shark bombs directly increased to an unimaginable extent. Like a huge psychic beast, it pounced and bit Lin Yuri. Are you crazy about me, a rebellious ninja of Kurigaku village, using water escape? Lin Yuyu showed a fierce expression, raised his hand and began to form the same seal as Zanyu. Water release. Giant shark bullet technique. The two ferocious giant beasts collided together, and they were evenly matched for a moment. Look at my thunder and lightning. Lin Yuri attached the thunder attribute chakra to the water shark, and his prestige instantly overshadowed Zan Yu's shark. Ha ha ha, you can't beat me. Ring Yuri, you see clearly, I have more than one shark. Zan Yu narrowed her eyes and smiled. In just an instant, 10 figures surrounded Lin Yuri. Every water avatar used the water release and shark bullet technique. 10 sharks instantly swallowed up Yuri Lin's figure. Using so many ninjutsu at the same time is the same as intelligence. Lin Yu finally got out of trouble, and Zan Yu's figure had already caught up with him. The Kusanagi sword with water attribute chakra was slashing towards him. Ringo quickly resisted, but he discovered that Zan Yu's swordsmanship was actually so powerful. With just one sword, he suppressed his 2 thunder knives. This is different from the intelligence of the Akatsuki organization. Ringo said in horror. Zan Yu's figure flashed like a ghost, and Lin Yu couldn't breathe at all. Asshole, don't underestimate me. Lin Yu seemed to have summoned all his strength, and his offensive suddenly became much faster. But Zan Yu knew that this was just his death struggle. 7 doors, open, sword skills, flash. Zan Yu has become proficient in using the combination of 7 gates Dunjia plus samurai swordsmanship. By opening the 7 gates in an instant, you can gain short-term acceleration and strength. Combined with your sword skills, you can make the enemy unable to defend at all. I saw a blue light passing through Lin Yuri in an instant, taking away his life quietly. Lin Yuri didn't even have room to resist. The 2 thunder knives and teeth fell to the ground, bright red blood gushed out from his neck, and he just fell into a pool of blood. Oh, you tried so hard to kill me, and now you've been killed. There's nothing to complain about, right? Zan Yu sneered, picked up 2 thunder knives, and threw them to Shui Yu behind her. Take it and use it. You should have received relevant training to deal with the Ghost Lantern clan. Yes, Shui Yu felt more and more that her eldest brother was too scary. Brother Zan Yu, when did you develop such a powerful swordsmanship? The Ghost Lantern clan was already good at using swords, but now seeing Zan Yu's swordsmanship, Shui Yu felt like she was just a child. Stop being stunned, Suigetsu, we should have some fun with Yagura. Zan Yu sneered and stepped deeper into the blood mist. Chapter 16. Ding. The mission is completed. The host has obtained 40,000 reputation points, the Thunder Clone, and the Talent 1000 Shadows link has taken effect. The Thunder Clone has evolved to the Shadow level. Obtained all Thunder Escape ninjutsu below S level. A huge amount of information poured into Zan Yu's mind. Thunder Releases ninjutsu was indeed powerful, and Zan Yu immediately felt the chakra in her body surging. Not only Reikiri, but also tricks such as Thunder Release, Kirin, and Thunder Release Chakra Mode, have been learned by Zan Yu. It seems that Lei Dun is indeed the sun's attribute in the original work. Both the types of moves and the power are top-notch. Is this the Thunder Chakra Mode? Pure white thunder and lightning surrounded Zan Yu, and he instantly felt that the cells in his body were greatly activated. No matter the strength or speed, they are not on the same level as before. One thing that is better than the 8-gate Dunjia is that although the upper limit of this move is not high, it will not cause too much damage to the body. Zan Yu, whose chakra is already deep enough, can turn on the Thunder Chakra Mode at will. The secret technique of Union Village was actually mastered by him. At this time, a considerable chakra fluctuation appeared in Zan Yu's perception. He knew that except for the 3-tailed Jinchuriki Yagura, there was no one else. What do you want to do when you come to my village? With just 2 words, Yagura exuded a breathtaking momentum. Even Suigetsu, who had obtained the Thunder Sword, did not dare to look directly into the eyes of this perfect Jinchuriki. Xuanyu boss Yagura-sama's strength is terrifying. Shui Yu is already scared, he didn't even have the courage to lift the knife. But only Zan Yu knows that Yagura is currently under Obito's illusion. If it weren't for illusion, how could Yagura exude such an evil aura? Stand back, Shui Yu. Zan Yu flexed her muscles and sneered, finally, here comes a guy who can fight. Ding. The system releases a mission. Defeat the 3-tailed Jinchuriki Yagura, reward an illusion clone, and gain 90,000 reputation points. Yagura holds a green club, his signature weapon. He is currently controlled by Obito, and when he sees Zan Yu being hostile, he plans to kill him mercilessly. Are you the Thousand Shadow Phantom Demon? You are very powerful, so I will use all my strength to transform into a tailed beast. Yagura took a deep breath, condensed his chakra, and instantly transformed into a three-tailed Isuzu. His chakra is also increasing exponentially, so terrifying that even the earth trembles. A huge turtle monster appeared, holding a tailed beast jade in its mouth, and shot it at Zanyu mercilessly. Direct enough. This was Zanyu's first time facing the tailed beast jade, so he decided to defend himself head-on. With a swish sound, countless clones appeared. Escape. Earth flow city wall. Water escape. Water formation wall. Layers of water and earth escape defenses were built, but they were directly destroyed by Yagura's tailed beast jade. Zanyu flew out upside down and avoided the explosion. As expected of one of the three perfect Jinchuriki, Yagura's strength is also one of the best among the Jinchuriki. But it's a pity that you bumped into me. Yagura remained silent and continued to release the tailed beast Tama to attack. He doesn't plan to give Zanyu any chance, and won't let go of any breathing space. I'm going to get serious, Yagura. Zanyu knew that water escape was also his opponent's specialty, so he didn't plan to use water escape. He was going to defeat Yagura in an unexpected way. C4. Garuda. Escape. Xuanyu successfully used Deidara's explosive escape ninjutsu through the clay clone. Zanyu summoned 7 Garudas with C4 power. The 7 clay clones continued to expand, releasing tiny bombs, and began to climb up the back shell of the rock. Boom. Isuzu was unable to move due to the explosion, but he tried his best to block it with his chakra. Zanyu saw it and showed an interesting expression. You can actually defend against 7 C4 level explosive escapes. Interesting. But is this your limit? Or do you plan to let the tailed beast reveal its true form here? Xuanyu stopped the attack and planned to see Yagura's further choices. Yagura's face was stern, but there was only killing intent in his eyes. The brain is deeply controlled by Obito, and self-awareness has been in a subconscious state for a long time. At this moment, in the unprecedented fierce battle, I slowly awakened. Oh, what am I doing? No, I'm going to kill you, Chenying. The size of Yagura's incarnation doubled in an instant. It seemed that his chaotic and angry emotions were bringing him closer to the form of a tailed beast. Despite this, the perfect Jinchuriki can still easily control and unleash the power of the tailed beasts. It seems that the seal has begun to crack. Obito, let me break your illusion. Because the illusion cast by Obito is a seal of his own spiritual chakra. Someone must crack it from the outside, or use considerable power to crack it, otherwise it will continue forever. And now, that seal is weak. Zanyu's eyes flashed, and she invaded Yagura's will with her spiritual power. At that moment, Zanyu's will was pulled into the seal. Spiritual space. Due to the blending of chakra, Zanyu was pulled into the seal. He saw Uchiha Obito's figure. To be precise, he is off now. Wearing a swirling mask. Who is it? Breaking into my seal. Ah-Fei turned around with a confused voice. I'm here to drive you out of here. Zanyu sneered. Oh, this is a rare visitor. Ah-Fei turned around and instantly moved behind Zanyu with divine power. But Zanyu has known Ah-Fei's tricks for a long time, so she is very vigilant. Want to unlock the seal? Ah-Fei said with a smile. Oh no, that won't work. Yagura still has a lot of things to do. Zanyu knew that the Ah-Fei in front of him was not Obito's true form. At most, they are just fragments of spiritual power condensed by the sealed chakra. As long as he is defeated, Yagura's seal will be released. Thunder escape chakra mode. Surrounded by a blue-white thunder light, Zanyu's speed instantly increased by a notch. It's useless. Zanyu's attack easily passed through Ah-Fei's body, and he knew it was because of the divine power. Ah-Fei can hide his body in a different space at will. However, Zanyu also knows the method of breaking the divine power. When the attack passes through Obito's body, he cannot move other parts of his body. Water escape. Thunder Water Dragon Bullet Technique. Zanyu combined thunder release and water release to directly create an electrified water dragon, which attacked Ah-Fei. The thunder attribute greatly increased the release speed of ninjutsu, and Ah-Fei had to use his divine power to neutralize the attack. At this moment, countless clones appeared, holding kusanagi swords in their hands, and all slashed at Abby. It took a while, but you seem to know the secret of my ability very well. Chenying Xuanyu, it seems that I need to get rid of you completely the next time we meet. A phase figure collapsed, and Yagura's seal was released. And Zanyu was also pulled out of the spiritual space. But the next second, what was waiting for him was a terrifying broadsword. Momochi Zabuza, little devil, why did you go to other people's villages by yourself? When Zabuza saw Zanyu, he slashed at her without saying a word. It was the beheading sword he used. Xuanyu easily deflected the sword with only Kusanagi sword and did not fight back. Instead, he turned to Yagura and asked, "Do you want to continue fighting?" Yagura shook his head, the illusion was lifted, and all the memories rushed in instantly. He was no longer controlled by Uchiha Obito. Ding! The mission was successful, Yagura's illusion was successfully lifted, the illusion clone was obtained, and an additional 100,000 reputation points were awarded. The illusion clone obtained was naturally evolved to the shadow level. Zanyu has gained the ability to obtain all genjutsu except the Sharingan. He can do this by using genjutsu clones. Thinking of this, Zanyu also saw Zabuza and Haku standing next to him. If possible, Zanyu did not want to kill these two people. Because in the original work, their life experiences were miserable enough. Therefore, the illusion clone just now came in handy. Zanyu's pupils were slightly opened as she stared at Zabuza and Haku. The illusion has slowly taken effect. Zabuza threw the decapitating sword with a plop, and then took off Haku's mask. In Kurigakure, Zabuza and Haku's figures gradually disappeared and left. Seeing this scene, both Suigetsu and Yagura looked horrified. Can it be manipulated to this extent with just illusion? Brother Zanyu, did you do anything to the two of them? Shui Yu asked in disbelief. Zanyu smiled and said, they will give up and continue to be ninjas and find a place to live a good life. Zanyu now controls the shadow-level illusion clone. He can skillfully use all genjutsu in the world except Sharingan. It is more than enough to control one Zabuza or Haku. Saying that, Zanyu picked up the beheading sword, and her heart was full of love. However, he could feel that the power of the decapitating sword was not as powerful as the Kusanagi sword in his hand. I have accumulated 200,000 reputation points, which is enough to exchange for the artifact I want. Let Shueyu use these mortal things. Now, all we have left is to find Kisame Inagaki and your brother Kaiden Mangetsu. Shueyu took the beheading sword handed to him by Zanyu, which was also his most satisfying weapon. With the thunder sword, teeth, and decapitation knife, can you protect Tanyan village? Zanyu said with a smile. Shueyu nodded and promised. Brother Xuanyu, don't worry. I'm here and those from Yenian village will never invade. Today's Shueyu should also have shadow level strength, so Xuanyu doesn't need to worry. Then, he looked at Yagura. You should know very well what you have done, right? Zanyu asked. Yagura lowered his head and said, I understand what you mean very well. I should step down from the position of the fourth Mizukage. Zanyu nodded. While Yagura was under the control of Obito Genjutsu, he lost a large number of outstanding ninjas. Under his tyranny, the people also complained against him. Therefore, he is no longer suitable to continue to be a shadow, or even to stay in the village. Do you want to join my organization? Zanyu asked. You organization? Yagura was stunned. Although you are very strong, you want me to join your organization? I am the fourth Mizukage after all. But before Yagura could finish speaking, he felt that he was in a terrible hallucination. He knew that Zanyu had already used advanced illusions on him. He didn't even notice when the spell happened. Zanyu's cold voice sounded in Yagura's ears. My illusions are not as gentle as Obito's. You can choose not to join. Anyway, I've got what I want. But you don't seem to have settled into your position yet. Before he finished speaking, a sea of blood flooded Yagura. The smell, sight, hearing, and touch are all exactly the same as in reality. Yagura can't even feel that this is an illusion. Zanyu's illusion skills are no longer comparable to those of the water escape and mist magic prison at that time. Having mastered shadow-level illusions, he can create the most realistic illusions in the world, second only to infinite Tsukuyomi. After a while, Yagura was on the ground panting, as if he was dehydrated. His spirit has suffered unpredictable damage, and even a perfect Jinchuriki cannot escape. Chenying Xuanyu. Your strength is unfathomable. I am willing to join the U organization. But if I leave, there will be no one to manage the village. Speaking of this, Zanyu knew exactly what to do. There is a talented woman in Kurigakure village named Terumi Mei. She will be your best candidate to be the next Mizukage. Hearing this name, Yagura naturally knew it very well. So he nodded and said, just do as you say. In this way, Terumi Mei, who was somewhat too young, accepted the appointment of Mizukage and officially became the 5th generation Mizukage. And Yagura, the perfect Jinchuriki, joined the Moon organization and served Zanyu. Hito Suigetsu carried 2 7-ninja swords and returned to Tanyan village to perform guarding duties. Yagura's strength is much higher than that of Suigetsu. With Genjutsu taking him, his strength will be even stronger. What is our destination? Yagura asked. Yenian village. Zanyu said, I want to capture Yenian in one fell swoop and eliminate the troubles in the north forever. Yagura was slightly startled. He wanted to conquer Iwagakure village with just one person. When he was not controlled by illusion, he never thought about such crazy things. However, the strength Zanyu showed made Yagura believe in this matter more and more. Just as the two were on the road, an uninvited guest arrived again. A huge puppet stopped Zanyu. It was Shia's puppet, Fei Liuhu. Scorpion, have you finally become impatient? Zanyu sneered. Zanyu, do you still like my nickname? Or should I call you Phantom Demon? Scorpion said slowly. I said I won't let you live too long, Zanyu. Wait, is Yagura standing next to you? Why would he become your companion? Zanyu didn't say much about Shia's surprise, she just smiled sympathetically. Your intelligence is too backward. Do you want to defeat me with this level of intelligence? Come out, other guy, I don't have the patience to say much. Zanyu has long known that the Shao organization operates in teams. If the Scorpion is here, it means his partner is also here, not far away. A dark figure walked out of the darkness. He has white hair, devilish teeth, and a strange smile on his face. After seeing others, Zanyu's eyes widened slightly. I didn't expect it would be you, Ghost Lantern Full Moon. It seems that you have already met my brother. Manyu sneered, unfortunately, I have joined the Akatsuki organization. If you hadn't killed Deidara, I wouldn't have risen to power so quickly. Not much information about the Ghost Lantern Full Moon was revealed in the original work. All I know is that he is a genius who can master all ninja swords proficiently, and his water escape ninjutsu is also superb. At this time, Yagura suddenly said, Master Xuanyu, I will handle the Ghost Lamp Full Moon. After all, I bear some responsibility for his defection. Ghost Manyu said coldly, I didn't expect Yagura to surrender to you. Anyway, I have wanted to kill the 4th Mizukage for a long time. Zanyu nodded and said with a smile, give me 10 minutes to deal with Scorpion. Fei Liuhu let out a breathtaking laugh and said, I'm not as easy to deal with as Deidara. In order to deal with you, I have completely transformed my body. I saw Xie voluntarily leaving Fei Liuhu's interior, revealing the red-haired body. On his chest is an artificial heart that symbolizes his life. Destroying this will completely stop Scorpion's movements. But Zanyu smiled slightly, he would not let things become boring so quickly. Scorpion, let's make a bet. If I can beat you, I will leave the Akatsuki organization and become my subordinate. If I lose, I will tell you the secret of my ability. Xie paused for a moment. Currently, he was indeed confident in killing Zanyu. But he still couldn't figure out the secret of Zanyu's ability. Why was he able to seize Deidara's ninjutsu? Why can he master so many clone techniques and different escape techniques? I hope you won't die so soon, Chenying Phantom Demon. Xie whispered. Fire Hell Formation. 2 pipes protruded from Scorpion's palms, spraying out flames that could melt everything. Water Release. Water Breaking Wave. Zanyu stretched out her hand and used a high-pressure water column to offset Scorpion's flames. Then, Zanyu summoned different clones. Water Clone, Earth Clone, Shadow Clone, Sword Clone and Explosive Escape Clone. Seeing this, Scorpion seemed to sneer. Zanyu, I already know your special escape technique very clearly. For this reason, I have also prepared different escape scrolls to deal with you. After saying that, a lot of tubes protruded from Scorpion's body, and different escape techniques were directly launched through the supply of chakra heart. Fire escape restrains water escape, and Thunder Escape restrains Earth Escape and Explosive Escape. As for the Shadow clones and Sword clones with physical skills, they can't get close to Scorpion's body at all. Zanyu's different ninjutsu were suppressed in all directions for the first time. Interesting. Only you, the Crimson Sand Scorpion, can use a number of escape techniques comparable to mine. Zanyu said with a smile. My illusion clone has no effect on Scorpion, because Scorpion himself is a puppet and is basically immune to illusions. Deidara's clay was removed by Scorpion's Thunder Escape without even exploding. As Deidara's partner, Scorpion is well aware of the weaknesses of his explosive escape ability. Death is your art, Chenkage Xuanyu. People like you should not appear in the ninja world. Zanyu, who seemed to be at the end of her rope, still smiled calmly. Do you know why Deidara died? It was because of your intelligence mistakes. Every day I breathe, I grow at a speed you can't imagine. After saying that, Zanyu's body was surrounded by a circle of white thunder and lightning. Thunder Escape Chakra Mode. Scorpion's expression suddenly changed drastically. Have you even mastered Thunder Escape? Zanyu condensed two groups of high-density thunder and lightning with her palms, looking for opportunities in the dense attack of Scorpion. Double Reikiri. But this is not the case with Reikiri. Compared with Kakashi, Zanyu's raid release at this moment is much stronger. I saw a white arc passing through, dispelling all the ninjutsu it encountered. Boom! Scorpion's puppet body was instantly shattered by the surging thunder, and it lay on the ground unable to move. The tubes in his body were destroyed and he could no longer use various escape techniques. It seems that it is necessary for you to feel despair again. Red secret skills. Hundreds of machine exercises. A bolt of lightning flashed over and broke Shia's arm. By the way, the Scorpions were surrounded by Thunder Attribute Kunai, and there were countless detonating charms that could be detonated at any time. Zanyu took out Shia's heart, held it in her hand and said, "You lose, Xie." Ding. The host defeats the powerful shadow-level enemy Scorpion and receives a reputation reward of 100,000 points. Without the chakra of the heart, Scorpion would not be able to summon his 100 puppets. The speed of Lei Dun was too fast, and Zanyu didn't talk nonsense at all, so Xie lost without using his puppet collection, including the famous third-generation Cage puppet. Don't waste your efforts, I know your details. Hundreds of people drilled, 3 generations of iron sand. I won't let you use those. Zanyu said with a smile. After all, he wanted to recruit red sand scorpions, and it would be bad if they were damaged during battle. Even if all of them were used, they would still be no match for Zan Yezhang's Thunder Release Qilin. I don't have enough information, you can kill me, Xie said coldly. Have you forgotten our agreement? I said I won't kill you, but I want you to join our organization. Zanyu said, placing her heart back into the hole in Xia's chest without making any further movements. Stop dreaming, I won't join. Xie said calmly. Scorpion, why are you so stubborn in following the Akatsuki organization? Pain is just using you. If you are willing to join the organization, I will help you find your parents. Zanyu said seriously. Parents? My parents are already dead, killed by Konoha White Fang. Xie said coldly. But the puppets you made are still there. Zanyu sighed, they are in the hands of Granny Chenio. I can take you to find her. Hearing Chio's name, Sha's breathing suddenly stopped. After all, his parents' names are a pain in his heart, otherwise he would not abandon the pair of dolls and become a rebellious nin. I would like to join your organization. Xie still wants to see his relatives again, and for this reason, he is willing to surrender to Zanyu in order to survive. Moreover, Zanyu's power is also the strongest among so many people he has seen. The right decision. Zanyu smiled. In fact, he didn't want to kill everyone. At that time, he was not strong enough to control Deidara. Therefore, Deidara was killed, otherwise, he would definitely try to get Deidara to join the group. Now that Scorpion, who can transform enemies into puppets, has joined him, his organization will become even stronger. On the other side, Ghost Mangetsu relied on 4 ninja swords, and actually fought hard with Yagura. But Zanyu could tell that Yagura was holding back and didn't even use the tailed beast transformation. And Wei Dang Manyu didn't seem to be attacking with all his strength. His 2 swords were still in an unreleased state. Water escape. Water mirror technique. Yagura used water escape to summon a mirror and directly copied the figure of Ghost Light Manjutsu. The copied Ghost Lantern Full Moon can actually use the same tricks as its original counterpart. Seeing Shia's defeat, Guidang Manyu spat and planned to run away. You can't escape my grasp, Ghost Lantern Full Moon. Zan Yu sneered. The ground beneath Zan Yu's feet collapsed. The next second, Zan Yu's figure disappeared like a ghost and appeared behind Ghost Lantern Manyu. Flag. Liberation. I saw that Guidang Manyu was very afraid of Zan Yu because he defeated Xing Yu, who even he found troublesome. So as soon as Zan Yu came, he immediately released his abilities. But the flathead was directly forced back by a sword blade surrounded by lightning. Chidori Ryu. Xuanyu wrapped the thunder attribute around the Kusanagi sword, making a crackling sound. Even if he faced the ninja Harimatsu head-on, he would not be at a disadvantage. What's more, Zan Yu's thunder attribute naturally restrains the Ghost Lantern clan's water transformation technique. If you move, you will lose consciousness immediately. Guidang Manyu was at the end of her rope, so she had no choice but to put down her weapons and give in. I am not strong enough, so I can only let you be at your mercy. Guidang Manyu said coldly. Guidang Manyu, I won't talk nonsense to you anymore. There are only two ways before you, so die, or do something for me. Zan Yu said. Working for you. I once wanted to kill you, aren't you afraid? Manyu couldn't help but ask. Hearing this, Zan Yu smiled. Your brother also said the same thing to you when he was defeated by me. What did you do to him? Manyu suddenly asked. Zan Yu was stunned and said with a smile, so you also care about him? Manyu lowered her head and said silently, I just don't want him to die. After all, the Ghost Lantern clan cannot live without descendants. Zan Yu moved the Kusanagi sword away from Manyu's neck and patted his shoulder. Don't worry, your brother is fine. He is on his way to a place called Tangakar village. If you set out now, you might be able to catch up with him. Manyu raised her head, a hint of joy flashed in her eyes. Why do you want to help me? Manyu asked. Zan Yu said, what are you thinking? I won't let you go until you agree to join the organization. Guidang Manyu gritted her teeth and said, I'll join you. Tell me, what do you want me to do? He thought Zan Yu was going to use him to do some suicidal mission. But Zan Yu just shook her head. Go find your brother and stay on standby. I will notify you if there is a mission. Manyu looked surprised and asked, you don't want anything? Zan Yu smiled and nodded, saying that she could just let Guidang Manyu go. Aren't you afraid that I'll just walk away? Manyu asked. In the name of the Phantom, I don't think he will. Xie had already returned to Fei Liuhu's appearance and said in a hoarse voice. Zan Yu did not want to establish a tyrannical organization, just like Xiao, who only relied on strength to make people surrender. The Moon organization I established will follow the path of heaven and change the current ninja world. I will not hesitate to kill anyone who has different ideas from mine. But if you are willing to follow me, I will treat you as a friend. Go, Ghost Lantern Full Moon. But your vacation is only for this period of time. After I finish dealing with Yenian village, I will assign you a new task. Hearing Zan Yu's words, Manyu felt deeply admired. He took the initiative to hand over the psychic scrolls of the 4 ninja swords he held. They are dull knife pocket cut, explosive knife float, double knife float, and long knife needle. Take it, I, Guidang Manyu, am a man of my word. These are swords as precious as my life. I give them to you to show my sincerity. This was beyond Zan Yu's expectation. He had no desire for these knives. But the full moon gave it to him, and he couldn't refuse it. You can keep those 2 swords, and I can keep the rest. If you want to go to Tanyan village, you must bring something for self-defense. Putting away the scroll, Zan Yu let Manyu leave and went after his younger brother Guidang Shuiyu. He now also knows that he has changed the fate of Guidang Manyu's death. Xiao, if you continue to stay in the Akatsuki organization, you will die sooner or later. Zan Yu said. What do you mean? Xie asked. I can't reveal too much. Zan Yu said, the task I give you is very simple. Continue to lurk in the Akatsuki organization and exchange information with me regularly. I want to understand the movements of other Akatsuki organization members to decide the course of action. Xie sneered. You want me to be a spy? That's a good idea. Then meet me at the Tiandi Bridge on the third weekend of every month. Also, tell them that you have killed Chenkage Xuanyu. Xuanyu said, from now on, I will act in the ninja world in the name of Genma, the leader of the U organization. I understand, but I'm just talking nonsense. I'm afraid Pain won't believe it, Xie said. Zanyu thought for a moment, then took off the Kusanagi sword from her waist and threw it towards Xie. There are only two of these things in the world. One is in Orochimaru's hand, and the other is in my hand. If you take it from him, you will definitely be able to deliver. Xie took the sword and nodded, then disappeared without a trace. Zanyu knew that Xie was a very principled person. He had already dumped the news about Qian Dai and he would not betray her. If by any chance he really did that, he would not hesitate to pierce the artificial heart next time they met. Yakura, let's go to Iwagakure village. Although there are still a handful of Samahata muscles that have not been recovered, it is not easy to find dried Kakisame Kisame. Now that I have Yagura, it is equivalent to controlling Kurigakure village. The outside world may not know what changes will happen to the water kingdom located on the island. Now that I have released Yagura's genjutsu early, the water kingdom will develop more rapidly than in the original work. In the future, the strength of Kurigakure village will bring greater help to him. Xuanyu directly summoned the giant clay bird, and quickly flew back to Iwagakure with Yagura. Onoki is getting old, and his control over the village is declining year by year. Those big names can unite and do things behind the Tsuchikage's back. It seems that I have to help Onoki clean up the family. I have accumulated a lot of reputation points. Let's take a look at the artifact. 200,000 reputation points are enough to buy the Flying Thunder God Kunai. Ding, I successfully purchased the Flying Thunder God Kunai and obtained the secret ninjutsu. The Flying Thunder God's technique. Even Zanyu didn't expect that she would directly learn to fly the Thunder God. Isn't this invincible? Buy again, Uchiha fan. Ding, I successfully purchased the Uchiha fan and obtained the Eye Technique clone. The clone of Eye Technique can master the power of Eye Technique. The pupil clone is upgraded to the cage level, and obtains the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and Byakugan. Obtains all the ninjutsu related to the Mangekyo Sharingan. The series of prompts from the system made Zanyu ecstatic. It turns out that the reputation points accumulated over a long period of time can get so many good things. You are indeed invincible now, with the Eternal Kaleidoscope and the Flying Thunder God. Zanyu raised the corners of her lips. Now he is confident enough even if he is challenging a country by himself. Let's go and teach the guys in Iwagakure village a lesson. To return to the Kingdom of Earth, you still have to go through a period of trekking. First, you need to take a boat from the Kingdom of Water to the Kingdom of Waves, and then walk on land. It would be unrealistic for Zanyu to keep flying with a giant clay bird. First, it's too ostentatious, and second, it consumes too much chakra. At the pier, there are still a lot of bustling people. I heard that the 4th Mizukage abdicated and is now recruiting talents. Really, maybe a wandering ninja like me can go to Kurigakure village to make a living. Hearing this, Zanyu was a little surprised. He didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. It seems that Terumime's efficiency is indeed very high. Zanyu said. During Yagura's reign, there was a serious brain drain in the village due to being controlled by genjutsu. As soon as he took office, he recruited wise men. Terumime had a very clear mind. What exactly does the Akatsuki organization want to gain by controlling my brain? Why not just destroy Kurigakure village? Yagura asked. It's just using Kurigakure village to create chaos. Zanyu said with a smile, the Akatsuki organization can make so much war wealth because of the chaos created by Kurigakure village's rebellion over the years. Only then did Yagura understand. Zanyu is not worried at all about the Akatsuki organization's plan to resurrect the 10 Tails, because the Jinchuriki Yagura is by his side. If they want to take Yagura away from him, they have no chance unless everyone takes action. Let's get on the boat. Zanyu and Yagura boarded a small boat heading to the country of waves and paid the boatman 5 taels of silver. Once you arrive at the country of waves, you can return to the land by transferring to a boat. He and Shui Yu were in a hurry at first, but they had to follow this process. Guest, do you want to buy some candles to take with you on the way? It's very cold when sailing early in the morning. At the pier, a little girl with somewhat shabby clothes was selling candles in her hands. The girl is only 11 or 12 years old, her hair is light golden, and she is very cute. Zhan Yu smiled and asked, "How much does one cost?" 5 cents apiece, the girl replied. "Take it, I only have one tael of silver this big." Zhan Yu handed over the broken silver in her arms. "You don't have to look for it, I know you can't find it." The girl was obviously stunned, so she gave all the baskets of candles to Zhan Yu. "Thank you, big brother, my mission for today is completed." Zhan Yu hesitated but accepted it, and asked, "What's your name?" "Chiano," the girl replied. "Chiano." Zhan Yu's expression changed and she began to recall the name in her mind. He was absolutely sure that this person existed in the original work, but he couldn't think of Chiano's origin for a while. At this moment, the surroundings suddenly experienced terrible changes. Blood-colored thick fog rose from the dock, and Zhan Yu knew that this was the blood mist technique of Kurigakure village. The visibility is lower than Kurigakure no Jutsu, which is quite scary. Most of the people on the pier were instantly reduced. They either ran away or bumped into something. They screamed and fell into deathly silence. Zhan Yu frowned. Could it be that people from the Shao organization came so quickly? Scorpio betrayed him. His first suspicion was Inagaki Kisame because he was able to use the blood mist technique. There is no need to open the Byakugan. Just from sensing the breath, you can tell that there are at least dozens of large chakras fluctuating around. Faced with this situation, Chiano didn't panic at all and just frowned. "Brother, be careful and get out of here quickly." After saying that, Chiano's pupils suddenly turned black, accompanied by scarlet eye whites. And her chakra also surged, which shocked Zhan Yu. After Chiano finished speaking, he got into the thick fog without looking back. It turns out to be her. Xuanyu finally remembered the origin of Chiano. It was a race called the Blood Pond Clan. Clan members can use the Blood Dragon Eye, which is similar to the Sharingan. Can use blood as a medium to use various powerful ninjutsu, as well as illusions similar to Sharingan. Chiano is the last survivor of the Blood Pond Clan. "Guest, let's leave quickly. Don't you want to die?" the boatman said impatiently. "Shut up." Zhan Yu looked back coldly, and the boatman didn't dare to vent his anger. "I'm afraid these people are here to hunt her down." Zhan Yu thought, "Yakura, stay here while I go to see the situation." Yagura nodded, and Zhan Yu's figure disappeared into the blood mist. I'm going to run away. I'm afraid these people are Cardo's men, they kill without blinking an eye," the boatman said tremblingly. Yagura quietly released the tailed beast chakra, protecting the entire ship. "Don't worry, no one can break in," Yagura said calmly. On the other side, in the blood mist, Zhan Yu has opened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. This blood mist is not enough to affect his vision at all. The figures of dozens of enemies were locked by him in the blink of an eye. Zhan Yu didn't want to talk nonsense and took out the Flying Thunder God Kunai. Flying Thunder God technique. A flash of light jumped in the blood mist, and everywhere it went there was screams and blood. In just 1 second, everyone in the field of vision fell down. But Xuanyu failed to find Chiano. "Yakura, get rid of this fog," he ordered. Yagura formed a seal briefly and took a deep breath. Wind escape. As soon as the typhoon passes, the huge typhoon instantly blew away the blood mist, and the dock instantly returned to clarity. After they dispersed, Zhan Yu noticed that Chiano had fallen into the hands of the enemy. On this enemy's head, he was wearing the forehead protector of Kurigakure village that had been slashed. Is this Kurigakure's traitorous ninja again? Yagura closed his eyes and sighed. The remaining enemies hid themselves from Zhan Yu's first Flying Thunder God by pretending to be corpses. "Don't come here, otherwise I'll kill this kid." Zhan Yu turned the Flying Thunder God kunai. As long as he wanted to, he could use the Flying Thunder God to kill the enemy at any time. But the rebellious nin pressed the kunai against Chiano's neck, and the tip pierced Chiano's skin, dripping a trace of blood. "Throw away the strange kunai in your hand, and close the Sharingan. I only give you one chance." Seeing that little loli was injured, Zhan Yu spat. To be on the safe side, he closed his Sharingan first and threw the Flying Thunder God kunai on the ground. As a result, he was no longer in a hurry to kill this rebellious nin. "HMPH, as expected, your purpose is the same as mine." The traitorous ninja said with a ferocious smile, "You are also here to capture this brat's eyes." Chiano couldn't help but shed tears, but the scarlet color in her eyes was very obvious. That was indeed the Blood Dragon Eye, a legendary eye technique comparable to the Sharingan. Purpose. Don't think that what I said is the same as someone like you. Zan Yu sneered, aren't you working for that scumbag Cardo? So what? Kaduo spent 1,000,000 taels on a bounty for this brat's eyes. Why don't I earn the money? Rebellious ninja sneered. He seemed to have used some method to suppress Chiano's Blood Dragon Eye technique, preventing it from being able to function. If the enemy can come to seize the Blood Dragon Eye, they must be well prepared. Zan Yu sneered. Don't you even let the child go. It seems that you are even worse than me. Since you don't deserve to live, then don't live anymore. Zan Yu looked at Chiano with a smile and said, Chiano, don't worry, I will definitely save you. The traitorous ninja laughed wildly when he heard this. You are at the end of your rope and you still want to kill me. Then, he pressed the kunai deeper and said, if you dare to take action, I will stab her to death. Zan Yu's eyes were as cold as ice, showing the depth of his anger. But he didn't make any movement with his hands, he just retreated as the rebel ninja said. Yes, that's it, the traitorous ninja said with a ferocious smile, now, die for your stupidity. With a flick of his sleeves, countless shurikens flew towards Zan Yu's face. Zan Yu sneered and moved her fingertips slightly. A water avatar appeared behind the rebel ninja like a ghost. Water prison technique. A ball of water trapped the rebel ninja tightly, and the water body saved Chiano, and he dodged and distanced himself from the rebel ninja. Zan Yu also made a casual move, and the shuriken flying towards him was swept under his feet. Aha! When the Kurigakure ninja was trapped in the water prison and could hardly breathe. Zan Yu can use the water body at will within a certain range, let alone in the country of water, a place where water molecules are dense. The situation has been reversed. Zan Yu smiled lightly. Before you run out of air in your lungs, can you tell me more news about Cardo? The traitorous ninja struggled in the water balloon and said desperately, I will tell you everything, save me. With the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan opened, Zan Yu just glanced at the traitorous nin and grasped the information he needed. I'm sorry, it seems I don't need your life anymore. Zan Yu said with a hint of coldness in her tone, I'll let you experience the most painful way to die. Drown alive in the water. This was the most painful way to die that Zan Yu had ever imagined. From the rebel ninja's mind, he learned about Cardo's bounty on the Blood Pool clan. The Cardos of the Land of Waves were originally just a group of rich gangsters in the original work. However, he would secretly offer bounties to those hidden families in the ninja world. Does Cardo want to slowly accumulate his own strength? What does he want to do? Zan Yu was very suspicious, but she could only extract so much information from the rebellious ninja's mind. Chiano, are you not injured? Zan Yu looked at Chiano, and a trace of blood flowed from the wound on her neck. But soon, her wounds healed and the bleeding stopped. The Blood Pond clan can use some blood-related techniques, so it shouldn't be difficult for Chiano to stop the bleeding. Brother, who are you? Chiano noticed Zan Yu's Sharingan, her eyes were timid. While walking outside, there were too many people watching the Blood Dragon Eye, so Chiano was naturally wary of Zan Yu. Zan Yu touched Chiano's head and said with a smile, Don't worry, I am by no means a bad person. Don't let others see your Blood Dragon Eye, otherwise it will be dangerous. There are many legends circulating in the ninja world. The Blood Dragon Eye can be compared with the Sharingan, but the Sharingan has now disappeared, so the Blood Dragon Eye has become a pupil technique that people are watching for. It was also said in the past that the Sharingan also hoped to obtain the Blood Dragon Eye and fuse it with it to strengthen its pupil power. This resulted in the Blood Pond clan being unable to safely establish a foothold in the ninja world, and could only seek shelter from the ninja village. Where are your parents and clan members? Zan Yu asked. Chiano shook her head. They are all dead, no one is alive, she whispered. Zan Yu didn't say anything. He didn't expect that she was the only one left in the Blood Pond clan in this world. Stretching out her hand, Zan Yu asked, Chiano, do you want to go with me? Chiano was startled and couldn't help but ask, You know that I am in danger, aren't you afraid of being implicated? Zan Yu smiled handsomely and said, Judging from my performance just now, do you think I am afraid of being implicated? Thinking of Zanyu's many miraculous ninjutsu, Chiano understood. I will teach you to control your power and teach you to protect your power, Zanyu said seriously. Chino, a member of the Blood Pond clan, did not display very strong strength in the original work. But with Xuanyu's education, I believe Chiano's strength will be further enhanced. This is the first time a stranger has been so kind to me. Thank you, big brother, Chiano said gratefully. My name is Chenying Xuanyu, and I am also the leader of Tissue Moon, Zanyu said as she took Chiano back to the boat. Yagura noticed that Zanyu understood the little girl, and his eyes were slightly surprised. This is Yagura, and he also works for me, Zanyu said. Hello, brother Xuanyu, and sister Yagura, Chiano said politely. Ahem, Yagura looked a little uncomfortable and said calmly, I am a man, and I am over 50 years old. Zanyu also chuckled. Yagura has a baby face to begin with, and she has an indistinguishable feeling about male and female. No wonder Chiano, who is still young, would admit her mistake. I'm sorry, Grandpa Yagura. Chiano blushed and whispered. Yagura's expression became even more grim. Chino-chan, just call him Yagura. Then, Zanyu whispered in Chiano's ear, he was once the 4th-generation Mizukage, and he has the burden of being an idol. Chiano was shocked. The 4th Mizukage would actually work for the young Genzuki. Zanyu, what is her background? Is there some super wealthy family in the ninja world? On the dock, only the corpse of the traitorous ninja and blood on the ground were left. The boatman watched all this in horror, the two waves fighting. Shipman, let's sail the boat, Zanyu said coldly, and then threw him a few large pieces of silver. Seeing the money, the boatman's expression relaxed. So, a few people finally sat in the canopy and set off towards the country of waves. The person who wants your life is Cardo, the president of the Wave Country Shipping Company. Zanyu said, it is not surprising that he is one of the richest men in the Wave Country and has the financial resources to hire so many ninjas. Yagura nodded. As a Mizukage, he naturally knew about Cardo. It's just that he has a reason for so many rebels in Kurigakure village, so he also blames himself a bit. Yakura, don't take it to heart. Zanyu smiled, let's just kill this guy this time. The country of waves is surrounded by the sea. There are no bridges and only ships can pass through. And Kato is the president of the large company that monopolizes this ship. The bridge built by Tatsuna at that time would affect his chances, so he sent Zabuza to assassinate him. Now that Zabuza has been awakened by his illusion, Cardo will definitely hire more difficult enemies. Judging from the fact that he wanted to get Chiano, he must have hired many hidden powerhouses. While he was thinking, the mainland of the country of waves gradually approached. At the pier, Zanyu saw several men in black suits from a distance, inspecting incoming ships. It seems that Cardo has truly grasped the lifeblood of the country of waves. Not only do ships passing by need to be inspected, but they also have to pay a large toll. The boatman complained. After reaching the shore, several people in black suits came up. Everyone come out, take out your belongings too. Zanyu gave him a look, indicating not to alert the enemy yet, but to do as Cardo's men said. It was just a routine inspection, and Zanyu also took out all her belongings. Huh, what is this? Cardo's men screamed in shock. Zanyu took a closer look and discovered that Chiano also had a bag of ninja tools hidden on her body. It was something she used for self-defense, but she accidentally forgot to take it out. Are you ninjas? The black suit said in an arrogant tone, hand over your weapons. After saying that, a large group of thugs in suits surrounded him. Most of them have samurai swords on their waists, and they don't look like people with chakra. But with such a large number, ordinary ninjas would be afraid of a lot. We have no weapons, Zanyu said calmly, and then pointed at the pack of toys with her eyes. As for that toy that is just a kid, are you afraid of that too? Facing so many enemies, Zanyu's expression showed no trace of fear. Even, there is no change from usual. Be more respectful, we are from Cardo Company. The black suit gave Zanyu a hard push. But just when the hand in the black suit touched Zanyu, he found that he couldn't push the teenage boy at all. What? No matter how hard the black suit tried, Zanyu remained motionless, and even her breathing did not change. The plain smile on his face makes people feel unfathomable. This kid is weird. The black suit quickly called the surrounding warriors over and surrounded Zan Yu and the other three. The warriors drew their swords one after another and pointed them at Zan Yu. The situation was very tense for a while. Seeing this scene, all the people on the dock ran away in an instant. They know that Cardo's power is the king's law in the Kingdom of Waves. Kid, tell us your details, otherwise don't blame us for being ruthless. Zan Yu sneered and looked around the rebel ninja. Just you. There is something wrong with him. Brothers, kill him. The rebel ninjas all attacked together. But just for a moment, all the warriors felt that their bodies were sinking. The ground beneath his feet turned into a blood-red swamp, and his body sank into the swamp uncontrollably. What? Ah, help me. Screams came and went. In an instant, all the warriors in black suits fell. Zan Yu has already opened the Sharingan and used illusion to control Cardo's men. They did not die, but fell into a deep sleep. In order not to expose her identity and purpose, Zan Yu did not intend to kill these people this time. Anyway, they are just trash fish, killing them is useless. Let's go. Xuanyu took Chiano's hand and left the dock with Yagura. Those Kado men won't remember anything when they wake up. Zan Yu can indeed drive Wushuang all the way and massacre people like Cardo. But he found it too troublesome and too ostentatious. Finding Cardo is easy, just go to the Naruto bridge in the original book. The bridge built by Dasna should be constantly disturbed by Cardo's men at this moment. Following this clue, you can quickly find Cardo. Gululu. Chiano's stomach growled and she hadn't eaten since morning. Zan Yu's physique is very good, and Yagura is also a ninja, so it doesn't matter if he doesn't eat for a few days. But Kianoka is still growing, and her physique is no different from that of an ordinary person. Chiano covered her abdomen in embarrassment, her face turned red and she felt a little shy. Seeing this, Zan Yu smiled tenderly and said, let's go get something to eat first. The country of waves is a country surrounding the sea. There are also a wide variety of seafood restaurants. It didn't take long for the three of them to find a restaurant near the pier. In this war-torn era, there were not many people running restaurants, and even fewer shops with brand names. This store is already one of the best Zan Yu has ever seen. Sir, please come in. There are plenty of seats inside. The waitress in kimono respectfully invited Zan Yu and others to come in. But at this time, a man in a black suit walked out and pushed Zan Yu out. Today this place has been booked by our Kaduo company, go elsewhere. Zan Yu frowned, but did not get angry immediately. Instead, she looked at the waiter. It can be seen that the waiter also has to be wary of Cardo's power, so he can only shake his head at Zan Yu. It's Kado again, Yagura said with some dissatisfaction. If he could disclose his identity, I believe Cardo would also be very afraid. However, doing so will only make the situation more complicated. I just want to eat here today. Zan Yu said coldly. The waiter said that there is a seat inside. The man in the black suit was stunned, as if he never thought that Zan Yu would resist. He took a fierce step forward, glared at Zan Yu and said, Kid, do you want to die? Zan Yu sneered, and the Sharingan opened instantly. Well, the man in the black suit was suddenly stunned, then collapsed and fell to the ground. The series of Cardo forces made Zan Yu very impatient. Although he didn't take this man's life this time, he would let him live in a nightmare for the next few months. Then, Zan Yu opened the door and walked into the hall. In the hall, a conversation was heard. At the wine table, a group of warriors were surrounding a fat middle-aged man. Master Kaz, given your relationship with Master Cardo, can you put in a nice word for us? We, the warriors of the Iron Kingdom, have the power that Lord Cardo wants. As long as we can serve as bodyguards, no matter how powerful the ninja is, they will not be a match. The obese middle-aged man is what the warriors call Kaz. Cardo's younger brother also holds a large position in the company. More importantly, he was able to recommend candidates to Cardo to serve as guards. As for being Cardo's guard, you can get a lot of reward. Seeing these warriors begging him so, Kaz couldn't help but smile. Lord Cardo has hired an S-class rebel ninja, and you are no longer needed. Kaz sneered. Upon hearing this, the warriors were stunned and didn't know what to say. I grovelled and poured wine for Kaz and tried my best to please him, but what I got in exchange was this sentence. For a while, these warriors found it difficult to accept. Kaz observed the attitude of these warriors and smiled. But if I speak for you, you can also seek the position of perimeter guard. Hearing this, the warriors laughed. Master Kaz, as long as this can be done, if you need anything in the future, just ask us, said the warrior leader Shaw. Shaw, I don't need you to do anything, Kaz said, but if you want to be a guard, you have to show your strength, right? After saying that, Kaz snapped his fingers. A few men in black suits walked out from behind the scenes, dragging 3 bruised ninjas. On the ninja's head, he wears the forehead protector of Kumogakure. Under the surprised gazes of the warriors, Kaz said, these 3 are the Jonin of Cloud Hidden Village, and they are very powerful. But if you break into Lord Cardo's territory, you will only end up like this. The warriors were a little shocked. Now, I'll give you a chance to live, Kaz said to the 3 Kumogakure village Jonins, as long as you get out of here alive, there won't be more people chasing you. Master Kaz, what are you? Shaw asked with some confusion. Kaz ordered someone to untie the shackles of the Kumogakure Junin and smiled. Natsu, if your samurai can defeat these 3 Junin, I will admit that you are capable of serving as guards. But if you can't do it, then these 3 ninjas from Hidden Cloud Village will kill you without hesitation in order to survive. The 3 Junin of Union Village had already stood up. They looked at these warriors with ferocious expressions, and it was obvious that they had murderous intentions. Shaw was stunned for a moment, and then his expression turned cold. If this can prove it, then it's enough for me to do it alone. After saying that, he walked towards the 3 Kumo ninjas. A mere samurai dares to deal with us alone. Let me see how powerful Union Village is. After saying that, the majestic power of thunder and lightning began to gather in Yun Nin's hands. Thunder escape. Thunder is coming. The raging thunder and lightning leapt towards Shaw. Can Shaw's old body really withstand this lightning strike? Ha ha, a few lost dogs. Shaw sneered, and the samurai sword at his waist was unsheathed like lightning. I saw a few invisible lights and shadows passing through the air. All the thunder and lightning of the Kumo ninja disappeared. At that moment, Shaw jumped up and used his knife to draw thunder, and then directed the thunder and lightning into the earth. He didn't suffer any harm. How did you crack it? Yun Nin asked tremblingly. Die. Flash. Shaw's body instantly passed through 3 cloud ninjas. Blood splashed, and Yun Nin fell to the ground and died on the spot. Good. Kaz clapped and said, you are indeed capable, Shaw. My companions and I will definitely not let Lord Cardo down, Sha Yin said coldly. At this time, a subordinate came out and said, a powerful ninja broke in at the door. Kaz was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, it's your warrior's turn to show your strength. Shaw nodded and ordered his men to resist. Then he walked towards Kaz and said, Lord Kaz, I will personally escort you out of the back door. A room full of warriors, quietly waiting for the enemy to arrive. But they didn't expect that the person who pushed the door open was a teenage boy with white hair. Samurai, Zan Yu said with a smile, how come you guys come to the country of waves to join in the fun? This outfit is the standard equipment of the Iron Kingdom warriors. Therefore, Zan Yu recognized him at a glance. The warriors sneered. Stop talking nonsense, we have already done something for Cardo, you are the one who broke in, right? If you don't get out, I'll cut you into pieces. Seeing Zan Yu being followed by Chiano and Yagura, the samurai's smiles deepened. There are 2 more chicks, you are lucky this time. Kill this brat and we'll have something to enjoy. Hearing the word, girl, Yagura and Chino's faces became obviously ugly. Before Zan Yu could take action, Yagura, who had endured it for a long time along the way, could no longer hold his breath. Water escape. Water needle. He just made a seal, and countless water condensed needles appeared densely in the room. I saw Yagura snap his fingers, and the needles exploded in the room. What is this? I saw that the bodies of the warriors were directly pierced by countless water needles, and they fell to the ground without even having time to struggle. As if being shot by a machine gun, Yagura's water needle technique has reached S-level destructive power. Zan Yu smiled when she saw this. It would be good to let her subordinates take action occasionally. Besides, these warriors are just minions, it's not his turn to take action. Fortunately, among the fallen warriors, there were still 1 or 2 alive. Tell me, the purpose of your coming here. The warriors of the Kingdom of Iron were stubborn and did not answer Zan Yu's words. But Zan Yu has her own way. Mangekyo Sharingan. The scarlet gaze exuding the smell of disaster pierced the warrior's brain like the tip of a knife. His information had been captured by Zan Yu in an instant. You are useless, but you cannot let others know that you are dead. After saying that, Zan Yu directly used the Mangekyo Sharingan. Kamaway. The bodies of the warriors were transferred directly to another space by Zan Yu, leaving no trace. Zan Yu narrowed her eyes as she tried to figure out the information in the warrior's mind. Shaw, Kaz, it seems that there are many things I don't know about this. However, I am more concerned about the S-class traitor ninja hired by Cardo. Who is it? Seeing Zan Yu's miraculous eye skills, both Chiano and Yagura were a little shocked. Zan Yu has never shown the limit of her power, so they don't know how many ninjutsu Zan Yu knows. Brother Xuanyu, can my blood dragon eye do this? Chiano asked enviously. Zan Yu smiled and said softly, as long as you practice hard, you will definitely become stronger. Yes, I will definitely practice hard. Chiano nodded. After saying that, he suddenly shouted loudly toward the door, "Waiter, please serve us some food and wine." The waiter in kimono knew that the person inside was Kato. He also knew that Zan Yu would not end well if he broke in. But when she opened the door, she only saw Zan Yu and the others. What's going on? She asked in shock. Where have the Kato people gone? Could it be that this boy and Cardo are also in the same group? But, it's not like. Zan Yu smiled and asked, is there any problem? No, I'll get ready right away. The waiter quickly ran into the kitchen to prepare meals for Zan Yu and others. Zan Yu had a good meal this time, much better than what he enjoyed in Tanyan Village. Tanyan Village is located in a desert area, and there are very few fresh ingredients, only some dry food, root vegetables, and meat. But among the dishes of the country of waves, there are many seafood feasts, including fish, shrimps, and shellfish that Zan Yu has never seen before. The variety of sashimi made Chiano drool. She started wandering very early and had never eaten such delicious food. It's so delicious, Chiano said vaguely with food in her mouth. After having enough wine and food, the three of them left the restaurant. But after seeing the scene outside the door, Zan Yu was stunned. He then smiled and said, "You actually waited quietly for me to finish eating. This is something I didn't expect. I saw Shaw, the samurai leader just now, leading a large group of men around the restaurant. What did you do to my companion?" Sha Lang asked. "They wanted to kill me, so I killed them all." Zan Yu said lightly, "This should be reasonable, right?" Sha clenched his fists, the anger in his eyes burning. "Now the grudge between you and me has nothing to do with Cardo. I will kill you to avenge my tribe." Zan Yu knew that Sha was bringing his companions from the Iron Country out to break into the ninja world. However, he chose the wrong path, that is, working for Cardo. Zan Yu breathed a sigh of relief. The information is almost there. From now on, I don't need to be merciful anymore. From now on, I will kill everyone who works for Cardo. Kill him, Sha ordered with a cold expression. The warriors under him did not hesitate, they raised their swords and rushed towards Zan Yu. Countless ninjas have died under their swords and been chopped into pieces. But to Zan Yu, these are nothing more than child's play. Zan Yu made a backhand move, and the flying thunder god kunai was held in her hand. It only takes a moment to kill you. In an instant, Zan Yu turned into a ray of light, refracting among hundreds of ninjas. Following the kunai of the flying thunder god warlock, Zan Yu's figure moved at a speed that exceeded human reaction. Sha only felt a blur in front of his eyes, and all his men lay on the ground. Suddenly, blood flowed like a river. What is this? Sha's eyes widened and he couldn't believe it. There is an attack faster than his own dodge. Zan Yu appeared again, now surrounded by thunder and lightning. This thunder escape chakra mode also has super speed. Sha raised the knife, but before it could be struck, Zan Yu's figure disappeared. Too slow. Zan Yu's voice suddenly came from behind. The ghostly figure appeared, and a ball of fierce thunder and lightning condensed in the palm of his hand. A flash of white light pierced Sha's chest. "Kato, let's have some fun." Zan Yu sneered. Before Sha Lin died, he had used his Sharingan to read Kaz's location. Kaz is in a stronghold not far from here. Once you find Kaz's location, you can further find Kado. The country of waves, one of the southern strongholds of Kado. The fat and bloated Kaz was sitting on the sofa at the moment, with a group of boys waiting on him. Have you found out the details of those mysterious ninjas? Kaz asked. The subordinate quickly took out the photo and replied. The young man leading the charge doesn't know, but that girl is the Blood Pond clan that Lord Kado wants to get, Chiano. And that guy who is neither male nor female is the fourth Mizuka Yagura. Kaz snorted coldly and said, he is really a troublesome guy. Who is that boy? He can use the power of the water shadow. But he immediately showed a cold smile. This stronghold is underground. No matter how powerful that guy is, he won't be able to find it here. You, continue to investigate that kid. After receiving the order, the spies opened the door and left. At this time, the masked ninja sitting opposite Kaz smiled sadly. Kaz, why are you so scared? Even if the fourth Mizuka comes, he is no match for me. As for that kid, he's a very interesting guy. The rebellious ninja, who wears a gas mask-like mask with green eyes, is wearing a forehead protector from Takigakur no village. Kaz quickly smiled and said, Kakuzu-sama, do you know the origin of that kid? Kakuzu sneered a few times. The leader of the U organization who has recently become famous in the ninja world, Genma. It is said that he can use a variety of escape techniques and is proficient in them all. But in front of my secret technique, Resentment U, no matter how many escape techniques are used, it is useless. I will dig out his heart and get the secret of making him stronger. Kaz did not dare to refute Kakuzu's words, because this S-class rebellious ninja was someone he couldn't mess with. This time, in order to accomplish Kado's purpose, he spent a lot of money to hire this guy. Kakuzu is different from most rebel ninjas in that he will accept any mission as long as the amount of money is appropriate. Otherwise, not many people would be willing to do business with Kado's company. Of course, I feel much safer with Kakuzu-sama here. Kaz smiled. At this moment, footsteps suddenly came from outside the door. Kaz was stunned and said, did the spy come back? So soon. But it was not his men who opened the door, but a young man with white hair. He was holding a dead man in his hand, who was the spy he had just sent out. And behind them, standing were Chiano and Mizuka Yagura. You, how did you get in? Kaz was so frightened that he collapsed on the ground. He was confident that Zanyu would not be able to come here because only a few people knew about this stronghold. Is it the samurai just now? He actually betrayed, Kaz said harshly. Zanyu smiled. Sorry, you wrongly blamed him, because that is not something he can decide. Before he finished speaking, dozens of golden lights flashed out, and all Kaz's men in the room were instantly killed. Blood flowed all over the ground, making Kakuzu a little shocked. This is the second generation Flying Thunder God technique. Why would you, a brat, use it? Could it be that you are from the Thousand Hands clan? Zanyu entered the door and saw Kakuzu's figure. Kakuzu is not wearing Akatsuki organization clothes, indicating that he is still a free man. That might be a lot easier to handle, because Zanyu has already started to think about recruiting Kakuzu. You must be Kakuzu. Zanyu smiled and did not answer Kakuzu's question. When I heard that Kado hired an S-class rebel nin, I wondered if I would meet you. After all, you are a money-oriented guy, so you wouldn't want to seize this opportunity, right? Kakuzu was stunned, and then slowly said, what do you know about me? A lot, Zanyu said, but before that, let's talk about a bigger business. Follow our monthly organization and we will become the richest guys in the world. But if you object, I will have no choice but to let you disappear from this world. Hearing this, Kakuzu sneered and said, funny kid, you dare to threaten me. You are the first one. Then, he stood up and said ostentatiously, back then, I and. But Zanyu interrupted him instantly and said, there is no need to talk about what happened when you fought against the first Hokage and then ran away in despair. You, Kakuzu's expression began to look ugly, who are you? I am the leader of the Moon Organization, Phantom Demon. Zanyu's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan exudes a bloody aura. Seeing these eyes, Jiaodu's expression changed drastically. I can't let you use those techniques. Secret technique, earthly resentment. Countless black threads poured out from Kakuzu's limbs, turning into attacks of different attributes, and greeted Zanyu. Wind escape. Pressure. Thunder escape. Pseudo-darkness. Water escape. Water curtain. Fire escape. Hard on the head. Earth escape. Earth spear. 5 masks. Attacks with 5 attributes are launched instantly. It was much more powerful than Scorpion's attack at that time. But Xuanyu just smiled faintly and took out the Uchiha fan from his backpack. This fan is a sacred weapon of the Uchiha clan, and he has never used it before. But now, it can be taken out and used. Bounce. Just like Madara, Zanyu waved the fan and bounced these techniques back to Kakuzu intact. Kakuzu's body was instantly destroyed by his own ninjutsu, and he lay on the ground unable to move. Zanyu estimated that this blow destroyed probably 2 of Kakuzu's hearts, and 3 more. Kakuzu, you only have 3 lives left. Do you want me to count them for you? Kakuzu struggled to get up, but still did not believe in evil. He couldn't even imagine how his ninjutsu was bounced back. I'm going to kill you. In anger, the 3 masks gathered in his left hand, and high-intensity chakra began to gather. Final shot. A blue chakra cannon was shot towards Zanyu, which was more powerful than the 5 escape techniques just now. However, Zanyu was not afraid at all. Purple aura overflowed from his body, and rows of bones emerged. The huge skeleton soldier, symbolizing the smell of disaster, enveloped Zanyu. Susanoo. Xuanzang Susanoo holds a pair of double swords. Kakuzu's final attack was neutralized with a single slash from his 2 swords. Are you an Uchiha? Kakuzu realized that he was no match and quickly wanted to run away. But Zanyu wouldn't give him any chance. Flying Thunder God blocked Kakuzu's escape route in a blink of an eye. Wait a minute, I'm willing to be your subordinate, Kakuzu yelled. But Zanyu no longer showed mercy, and 2 thunderbolts rushed through her palms, instantly penetrating Kakuzu's body. Kakuzu's 2 hearts were taken away instantly, and he lay on the ground unable to move. Although he still had a heart, his limbs were broken and he was unable to compete with Zanyu or escape. Kakuzu, you only have 1 chance. You believe in your own power too much. Zanyu said softly. Kill me if you want. Kakuzu said harshly, I never thought I would die here. At this time, Kaz actually wanted to take advantage of the chaos and escape through the door. He was immediately grabbed by Yagura and thrown to the ground. Yakura, watch him. Zanyu said lightly. You won't kill me yet. Kakuzu said. Why, are you in a hurry? Zanyu asked doubtfully. I don't want to kill you yet. After all, I find your abilities very interesting. Earthly resentment you can take away other people's hearts and abilities at will, but you only took away the abilities of some miscellaneous fish, which makes me very disappointed. Hearing that Zanyu was very aware of his abilities, Kakuzu became even more confused. He didn't know how a kid could know so many things. Zanyu chuckled lightly and said, Kakuzu, this is your last chance. Following me will not only satisfy your desire for wealth, but also find you some more powerful hearts to use. But the premise is that you are not allowed to have any dissatisfaction with me and the organization, otherwise I will kill you without hesitation. When Kakuzu heard that he didn't have to die, he nodded quickly and said, I promise you. As long as you don't kill me, you will be my benefactor. Zanyu sighed and said, sure enough, people who live longer are more afraid of death. Okay, you can absorb the hearts of these corpses on the ground, so you can replenish your physical strength first. Jiaodu was stunned, and quickly used the Earth Resentment U Black Thread to replenish his lost heart. Now that he has no ability, only Thunder Escape can be used, and his strength is greatly reduced. But Zanyu kept Kakuzu by her side just to use him as a tool. Use his Earth Resentment and you to save some interesting techniques. Don't worry, follow me. Your good heart will be indispensable in the future. Zanyu smiled. After all, I am a guy who often meets strong people. Boss, from now on, I will join the U organization to serve you. Kakudu looked happy. Then, Zanyu turned to Kaz. Kaz's fat mass was already trembling with fear. Don't kill me, I'll say anything. He begged Zanyu. Forgive me that you don't dare to lie to me in front of the Sharingan. Zanyu lowered her head and smiled playfully. Tell me the location of Cardo and the identity of his traitorous ninja. Kaz cried and said, my brother is taking people to the bridge of Daznashu. As for the traitorous ninja he hired, he didn't show up at all. I don't know anything. Originally, Kakuzu-sama was supposed to be brought there by me, but now. Through the illusion of Sharingan, Xuanyu also knew that Kaz did not know the identity of the traitorous ninja. Moreover, the information about Cardo is also true. Can you not kill me? I haven't lived enough yet. Kaz cried. I think you don't believe that I won't kill you. Zhan Yu sneered. Sorry, I only show mercy to those who are interested. As for you, you are just a useless waste. He raised the knife and lowered it, and a huge human head rolled down. The bloody scene made Chiano a little scared, but she had been hunted since she was a child, so her adaptability was slightly better. Zhan Yu was very gentle to her, so this fear was just an emotional reaction. Lord Zhan Yu, where are we going now? Kakuzu asked, having replenished his heart. Zhan Yu paused and said, you should have recovered a lot of strength now. Go to the bridge and help me get to know the S-class rebel Nin first. I want to know what Cardo wants to do. Zhan Yu didn't know Cardo's purpose, she just knew that he was recruiting troops. It can also be seen from Kaz's memory that even his brother does not know the exact content of the plan. Understood, Lord Zhan Yu. Kakuzu said with a cold smile, if I can win, can I absorb that rebellious Nin? Zhan Yu nodded, expressing her acquiescence. Kakuzu was so happy that he disappeared instantly and rushed to the target location. Chiano, do you feel any discomfort in your eyes? Zhan Yu rubbed Chiano's head and asked gently. He knew that the Blood Pond clan had considerable research on blood ninjutsu. If Chiano had talent, she would have reacted when faced with so much blood. Chiano nodded and said, my eyes feel a little dry and swollen. Zhan Yu thought to herself, it is indeed so. There is no need to suppress the power of the blood dragon eye, just release it here. Zhan Yu said. Chiano knew Zhan Yu would be able to suppress herself, so she nodded and closed her eyes. When he opened his eyes again, a pair of blood-colored black pupils had already stood upright. It seems like I can control blood. Chiano stretched out his hand, and the blood in the corpses on the ground strangely gathered in the air. The blood gathered into a ball and began to continuously inject chakra into Yagura and Xuanyu's bodies. Can blood be converted into chakra? Yagura was stunned. Xuanyu just waved her hand gently, and Chiano's blood dragon eye disappeared. Brother Xuanyu, will this ability help? Chiano asked. Zhan Yu nodded and said with a smile, of course, with you here, we won't worry about the loss of chakra. A blush flashed across Chiano's face. Chiano is very happy to be able to help brother Zhan Yu. Xuanyu encouraged Chiano and took the two of them out. Before leaving, he did not forget to use a fire escape to burn the place to the ground. Not long after leaving the stronghold, Zhan Yu saw several familiar figures. Zhan Yu was in an extremely excited mood and could hear her heart beating wildly. Finally I meet the protagonist. What Zhan Yu saw on the street was the protagonist of Naruto and his party. Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke, and mentor Hatake Kakashi. At this moment, the four of them seemed to have gone to Dazna's house and were wandering on the street. Would you like to say hello? Zhan Yu thought to herself. He eliminated the threat of Zabuza, but it made the threats faced by the others even greater. The one Kato hired this time was an S-class rebel nin, and he should be much stronger than Zabuza. If they carry out their tasks as usual, they are likely to encounter great danger. Thinking of this, Zhan Yu thought it would be more reasonable to say hello. But it suddenly occurred to him that Yagura, the fourth Mizukage, would be recognized wherever he went. Yakura, do you want to wear a mask? Zhan Yu asked. Yagura immediately understood and nodded. So Zhan Yu spent money on the roadside to buy a mask and gave it to Yagura. This way, no one would casually identify him as the fourth Mizukage. Finally, Naruto stopped at a stall. This is a shuriken shooting range, and those who can hit the target will receive gifts from the boss. The gift is a very cute toy bear. I really want that little bear. Sakura said with bright eyes, I want to compete. I want to show off the strength of my shuriken. Naruto said eagerly. Sasuke snorted and said, boring. Sakura persuaded. Sasuke, you should try it too, you must be better than Naruto's shuriken. However, Kakashi stopped the three of them outright. You two are real ninjas. Doesn't playing like this amount to cheating? The boss was relieved when Kakashi stopped him. In fact, he did not explicitly state that ninjas cannot play, but there are very few ninjas in the land of waves, so he ignored this. Can I play? A young man with white hair came forward. Behind him were a guy wearing a mask and a little girl with blonde hair. This strange combination attracted the attention of Kakashi and his group. Looking at her clothes and temperament, the boss thought that Zanyu was a young master who took his sister out to play. Because the one wearing the mask is obviously very powerful. But this young master doesn't look like a strong man, he is thin and thin. This kind of people are the boss's money pot. They often do not believe in evil and spend a lot of money but still fail to hit the target. Of course you can. The boss smiled. Zanyu took out a tael of silver and put it on the table, then skillfully picked up the shuriken prepared by the boss. After a moment's consideration, Zanyu noticed something was wrong. This shuriken is hollow and filled with iron sand. When it is shot out like this and rotates in the air, the iron sand inside will continue to collide, causing it to lose its center of gravity. Not to mention ordinary people, even ordinary ninjas may not be able to hit in one shot. With a playful smile, Zanyu gave the boss a thoughtful look. The boss instantly felt like he was being seen through, and his expression became unnatural. Did this kid see through my shuriken? He couldn't help but thought to himself, but he still shook his head. It's impossible. I've been running my own store for many years and no one has ever figured it out. Zanyu stroked the shuriken and thought about how to make it hit the target. Even if he knew there was something strange inside, it was obviously impossible to judge the direction of the shuriken's flight. Everything is random, what to do? Soon, he thought of a way. Aren't you going to throw it away? Master, there is someone waiting behind you. The boss urged, worried that the shuriken would be exposed. Let's go too, Tatsuna is still waiting at home. Kakashi said, preparing to leave with the students. But Zanyu suddenly said, Boss, can you throw 3 shurikens at once? This sentence made Kakashi and his party suddenly interested. Kakashi knew from the beginning that the boss's shurikens were weird, so he stopped Naruto and the others from wasting money. But he also knew that the only way to crack this shuriken was to throw multiple shurikens. The shurikens collide with each other to change the direction. After taking a look at Zanyu, Kakashi thought to himself, is this boy not simple? The boss was stunned, not knowing the secret, and nodded. Zanyu smiled playfully, skillfully picked up 3 shurikens, and sprinkled them randomly like a goddess scattering flowers. The boss sneered, this kind of amateur technique would be wrong at a glance. But the next second, his smile froze. Zanyu's first shuriken fell down due to the iron sand. But the second shuriken followed closely, and the shuriken hit him hard. After that, the third shuriken hit the first shuriken just right. Hit the bullseye perfectly. The boss's eyes almost fell out, and he couldn't help but said, can it still be like this? The collision of the shurikens only happened in an instant, and the boss couldn't see clearly what was going on. All he heard was crackling, like a shuriken hitting a pool ball in the air, and finally it hit the bullseye. It's like magic. Wow, that's amazing, Uzumaki Naruto said excitedly, clenching his fists. A blush flashed across Xiao Ying's face, and she suddenly felt that Zanyu was so handsome. Uchiha Sasuke frowned and said secretly, this is more exquisite than the Uchiha clan's shuriken technique. No, Sasuke, please weigh that shuriken, Kakashi said. Sasuke was stunned. The moment he picked up the shuriken, he suddenly felt something was wrong. This is. He looked up at Zanyu, who had a calm expression on his face. He used this kind of shuriken to accomplish what he just did. Kakashi sighed. It seems that there are many people in this world who are younger than you but stronger than me. Although the boss was dissatisfied, seeing Zanyu's incredible skills, he couldn't afford to offend him. He had no choice but to hand the bear over and said with a wry smile, you are so awesome. This prize is yours. The bear was very exquisitely made. Zanyu only spent 1 tael of silver on it, but the store still suffered a loss. Zanyu put the little bear in Chiano's hand and said with a smile, give it to you, Chiano. Chiano blushed and accepted it, and whispered, thank you, brother Zanyu. Ever since she was little, no one has given her such a gift, and she has always been hunted. Now, I feel warm. Sakura also liked this bear toy and couldn't help but look envious at this moment. After all, she is only in her teens now and is still a child. Feeling Sakura's gaze, Chiano understood what was going on. So she smiled slightly, handed the little bear to Sakura, and said, "Sister seems to like it very much, give it to you." No, how can I have it? Sakura waved her hands quickly, she was too embarrassed to accept the child's gift. Zanyu also stepped forward and said with a smile, "Just accept Chiano's wishes." Sakura still shook her head and said, "Chiano, you must also like this little bear very much. Even if you want to give it to me, I will be embarrassed to accept it." Chiano smiled and put the bear into Sakura's hand, and then hugged Zanyu gently. "It's enough for me to have brother Zanyu." These words suddenly made Sakura and others blush. The words have come to this, if Sakura doesn't accept it anymore, there will be no way to end it. Then, "Thank you, Sister Chiano." Sakura smiled. "Sorry, I'm so sorry." Kakashi scratched his head and apologized quickly. Zanyu shook her head and said with a smile, "Don't take it to heart, maybe we are destined." Seeing Zanyu, who was almost his own age, acting so cool, both Naruto and Sasuke looked a little impatient. "My name is Zanyu, and this is Chiano." Zanyu smiled, then glanced sideways at Yagura. "This is Ching, my guard." Kakashi also introduced a few people to Zanyu. Before Kakashi could continue, Zanyu said, "Guard, you are Konoha ninjas, right? If you don't mind, I can be your guide." Kakashi hesitated and said, "Maybe there's something wrong with this." Naruto said, "What does it matter, Kakashi-sensei? It's also a good thing to have one more friend." Sakura was curious about Zanyu and had no objection. And when Sasuke looked at Zanyu, he regarded him more as an opponent. Xuanyu guessed the thoughts of several children very clearly. The important thing was not to arouse Kakashi's suspicion. Looking at some of the newcomers to the country of waves, they probably don't know some inside information. Zanyu said softly, "Foreign ninjas are not welcome here." Kakashi narrowed his eyes and whispered, "Indeed, we were attacked by unknown ninjas on the way here. We suspect it was Cardo's men. Although I'm not a big shot, I can help you avoid these troubles." Zanyu said this because she wanted to protect Kakashi and the others, otherwise they would be in trouble when facing the S-class rebellious ninja. In the end, Kakashi nodded and said, "There is really no other way, so I'll trouble you, Zanyu." Along the way, several people got along very harmoniously. Chiano had a lot of fun with the children in Class 7, while Zanyu and Yagura rarely spoke and just paid attention to what was going on around them. The journey back to Dazuna's house was not long, but the time passed very long. Leave the city and walk along the forest to reach Dazuna's seaside hut. But at this moment, Zanyu felt something strange. His keen sense told him that there were many eyes staring at him deep in the woods. Kakashi seemed to sense something was wrong, and he was the first to look at Zanyu. "Zanyu, you." Before he could speak, an endless rain of shurikens suddenly burst out from the woods. The dense attacks covered almost all of them. "Ching," Zanyu said lightly. Without hesitation, Yagura transformed into a tailed beast with one hand, forming a huge chakra wall that blocked the shurikens on one side. On the other side, Zanyu was already prepared. Escape. Earth flow wall. Almost instantly, the thick and wide earth current wall blocked all the shurikens. Naruto and the others didn't even realize what was going on. Kakashi also frowned, eyes startled. Why is Zanyu faster than himself? You don't even need to form seals to use such a huge earth flow wall. "Teacher Kakashi, take the students out of here first," Zanyu said calmly. Kakashi wanted to ask clearly, but for some reason, Zanyu's voice had an undeniable magic power. He immediately followed Zanyu's suggestion and ordered the 7th squad to withdraw from the battlefield quickly. This was the first time for Naruto and others to encounter such a formation. There was no noise at this moment, and they broke forward under the cover of Kakashi. However, after the shuriken stopped, more attacks came. Boom! A series of explosions came from the periphery of the earth flow wall, and the defense of rock and earth shattered in an instant. Oh, Zanyu didn't expect the other party to have such means and smiled playfully. Ahead, it will take some time for Kakashi and Team 7 to withdraw. Interesting, earth clone technique. Zanyu formed a seal, and dozens of earth clones penetrated the battlefield. Earth escape, earth flow great wall. Sky-high rock and soil walls suddenly rose up on both sides of the road, their thickness more than doubled than before, and they stretched for dozens of kilometers. It's like a section of a huge city wall. Who is he with this chakra? Kakashi's eyes widened. The Great Earth Wall seemed to have stopped the explosions outside. Kakashi also took the opportunity to sneak away with Team 7 and left the area where they were ambushed. The next second, Zanyu's Earth Flow City Wall was directly penetrated by a more powerful force and collapsed. In the flying dust, what Zanyu saw was a group of guys with red eyes. After Chiano saw these people, his calm eyes suddenly became confused. This is, she murmured. Zanyu also noticed that these eyes were the blood dragon eyes of the Chiano tribe. But Chiano said that all his people were dead. These eyes, could they be? Zanyu thought of a possibility. Among the crowd of blood dragon eyes, a middle-aged man with an evil smile on his face walked out. Phantom, you are finished. You killed so many of Lord Cardo's men, let's see how you escape from our grasp today. Zanyu's face was calm, and she just asked out of curiosity, where do your blood dragon eyes come from? Among the dozens of people present, all had been transplanted with the blood dragon eye, the pupil technique of the Blood Pool clan. Of course I'll kill the guy from the Blood Dragon Eye clan who refuses to submit. Those Blood Pond clan are really stubborn. They would rather die than work for Lord Cardo. After hearing this, Kayanano's eyes shed tears and she became extremely emotional. What did you say? The middle-aged man smiled darkly and looked at Chiano. I didn't expect that there is a girl from the Blood Pond clan here. I will send you to meet your clan in a moment. Zanyu's face suddenly turned cold, and just as she was about to take action, Chiano went berserk. A string of scarlet chakra surrounded her, and the blood dragon eyes in her eyes had already been opened. Zanyu was stunned, and quickly supported Chiano and looked into her eyes. This is. Chiano's eyes are no longer ordinary blood dragon eyes, but have begun to change. According to legend, when the Uchiha clan's Mangekyo Sharingan opens, it is because the brain suffers a heavy blow and secretes certain hormones. Could it be said that the principles of the Blood Pond clan are the same? Chiano's eyes were already bleeding out of blood, and the one horizontal bar at the pupil turned into 3 at this moment. Wait a minute, this kid's eyes are different. All the blood dragon eyes felt a bad premonition and stepped back. Is this an advanced version of Blood Dragon Eye? Zanyu's eyes widened. From the original Blood Dragon Eye to 3. Chiano's chakra continues to surge at this moment, and even Zanyu can no longer ignore it. I'm going to kill you to avenge my parents. In Chiano's rage, the blood-red chakra surrounding him turned into several long blood-colored dragons and rolled towards the crowd. Blood Dragon Technique. The long bloody dragon kept biting Cardo's men, and the terrifying chakra it exuded was at least equivalent to the power of a Jinchuriki's tailed beast transformation. This kid dares to attack us. We will also use the Blood Dragon Technique to kill her. Cardo's men transplanted blood dragon eyes and mastered the art of Blood Dragon. Transforming your blood into a dragon to attack, you can restrain all escape techniques. Chiano failed to hit her with one blow and wanted to continue attacking, but Zanyu hugged her. Looking at Chiano who was shedding tears of blood, Zanyu said with a solemn expression. I'm sorry, Chiano, for making you feel pain. You should not be responsible for these dirty things. Just take a nap. The Mangekyo Sharingan opened, an illusion more powerful than the Blood Dragon Eye, and Chiano fell into a deep sleep. The blood dragon disappeared and Chiano fell asleep leaning on Zanyu's shoulder. Yakura, can you help me take care of her? Zanyu asked softly. Yagura nodded quickly, took Chiano and put it in his arms, then wrapped the 3-tailed chakra tightly around his body. Lord Zanyu, she will not be harmed at all. After doing this, Zanyu turned around and faced the group of guys with scarlet eyes. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes has been fully activated. This was the first time that he didn't suppress the power of the Sharingan and let the scarlet aura of disaster come out wildly. The entire forest was filled with an indescribable murderous aura. What's going on with this feeling? This kid seems to be very troublesome. Cardo's men finally felt something was wrong. After being transplanted with blood dragon eyes, they were so excited that they ignored the fact that Zanyu possessed powerful eye skills. In order to gain power, do you even kill innocent children? If this is the real world in my eyes, then I would rather destroy this reality. Feel the pain. The eyes that were almost bursting with anger were filled with anger like a sea of blood. Tsukuyomi. Time stood still for a moment. From the perspective of Cardo's men, the sky and earth suddenly lost all color. Everything turned gray, and a tangible smell of aging came to my face. Empty sky, boundless territory. In a world that has lost its color, groups of Cardo's men are tied to pale crosses. The densely packed crosses are like crops on the earth. In front of them, Zan Yu was wearing a black robe and holding a black knife in her hand. Zan Yu, who had the same number as the cross, had cold eyes with no warmth at all. "Where is this place?" the middle-aged man just now yelled in horror. The transplanted blood dragon eyes in their eyes have long been eclipsed. Give up the struggle. In the world of Tsukuyomi, space, time, and quality are all under my control. In other words, you have fallen into hell. After speaking, the black knife in his hand stabbed the prisoner's abdomen. A series of screams continued, and in this absolutely silent world, no sound could be heard. Here, there is only pain. Although it's an illusion, all the feelings are real. I will scrape off your internal organs piece by piece with a knife, and I won't let you die. The middle-aged man cried out in pain. Please, spare me. Zan Yu put her index finger to her lips. Shish. 1 day in Tsukuyomi world is equivalent to 1 second in reality. Don't waste your last human time. Amidst the endless howling, it took an unknown amount of time before it fell into dead silence. Zan Yu's eyes were slightly dizzy. He had just pulled all the enemies into the Tsukuyomi world in an instant, spending a lot of chakra. The god Itachi in the original work also shed a line of blood and tears after pulling Kakashi into Tsukuyomi. If Xuanyu didn't have the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and used Tsukuyomi on this scale, these eyes would have been blind long ago. Moreover, he used the most painful way to torture these scum in the Tsukuyomi world. It was also mixed with other illusions, causing his heart to twitch and die instantly after the pain ended. For these fools, he must make them feel great pain before killing them. Ha! Zan Yu closed her Sharingan and regained her strength a little. The next second, pitch-black flames burst into flames, burning all the corpses on the ground. Yagura couldn't understand Zan Yu's strength more and more. Even he felt a lot of pressure from the blood dragon eyes of the group just now. But Zan Yu only used a moment to make all the enemies collapse to the ground, and then died strangely. Even calling him the god of illusion is not an exaggeration, right? At this time, Kakashi's figure emerged from the woods, and he witnessed everything just now. Although Zan Yu asked him to leave, how could he just walk away? Facing Zan Yu with so many secrets, it was necessary for him to find out the truth. Why do you have the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan? He asked in astonishment. Zan Yu also knew that she couldn't hide it from Kakashi, so she smiled lightly and asked, Kakashi Hatake, don't you have it too? Kakashi was startled and then said, you have known our identities for a long time, right? Zan Yu nodded. What is the purpose of a strong man like you approaching us? Kakashi asked doubtfully, you don't seem to have any ill intentions, I just can't figure it out. Kakashi hoped that Zan Yu was not coming for Sasuke's Sharingan or the Kyuubi in Naruto's body. If that was the case, he couldn't stop Zan Yu from taking these two things. But Zan Yu had already thought of Kakashi's concerns. It was too troublesome to explain more, so he simply pulled Kakashi into his illusion space. Xuanyu showed his Sharingan and said, Kakashi, as you can see, I possess the legendary Naoba Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, which is the eternal Mangekyo. I no longer need Uchiha Sasuke's eyes to upgrade me. As for Kyuubi, I'm even less interested. I really want to fight the Kyuubi in its prime. Kakashi gasped. This child had reached the level of Naoba Sharingan at such a young age. He had no choice but to kill Lin before turning on the kaleidoscope. What kind of past does this Xuanyu have? Who are you? Kakashi asked with wide eyes. In the ninja world, others call me Phantom Demon. Zan Yu smiled flatly. My organization is called You. Phantom, are you the clone ninja? Kakashi is also very knowledgeable about news in the ninja world. Ever since the Akatsuki organization released the news of the rise of Phantom spread like wildfire in the ninja world. Although there are no modern means of communication, the reputation of Phantom Demon still spread throughout the entire Hokage continent in just a few dozen days. The power of the Moon organization has also gradually expanded. The joining of strong men such as Guidang Shuiyu and Guidang Man Yu made the organization more famous. The record of killing Deidara and defeating 7 people was also frightening. Kakashi has naturally heard of the Genma who did all these things, the leader of a mysterious organization whose friends and foes are hard to distinguish. Actually right in front of me. You have a variety of different clone techniques and have mastered almost all escape techniques. Kakashi said, no one wants to be your opponent. Zanyu smiled and said, you, a guy who has copied thousands of ninjutsu, are no less capable of sharing the Sharingan than Kakashi. Kakashi scratched his head and smiled bitterly. It seems that I have been seriously tricked by you. If you have any orders, just tell me. Kakashi, who thought he was inferior in strength, could only succumb to Zanyu. Zanyu smiled. He also loved Kakashi very much in the original work. His first question was, are you willing to join the Moon Organization? Kakashi was startled, and seemed to think it was not good to refuse directly, so he could only say slowly, well, I have no intention of becoming a rebellious nin. Zanyu laughed. It was indeed a bit difficult for Kakashi, who was loyal to Konoha, to be a rebel nin. Moreover, he has many strong men under his command, so he does not particularly need Kakashi's power. I understand, but you can be my liaison with Konoha. Zanyu said, our Moon Organization has no ill intentions towards Konoha. On the contrary, I can help you get rid of the Akatsuki organization. Kakashi nodded and said, as long as it's normal communication, I have no reason to refuse. What's more, you saved us, didn't you? Then, we will meet here in the future. Zanyu suddenly said, Shinwei. Kakashi was shocked again. How could Zanyu use his pupil technique? He covered his left eye and whispered, you even know this. Kakashi opened the kaleidoscope very early, but due to the lack of blue, he was unable to use his divine power. But he knew how to use this technique very early. Zanyu nodded and said, the divine space in our eyes is already connected, and information can be transmitted through this space at any time. Okay, I'm afraid your students are impatient too, let's go out. After leaving the Kamui space, I found the 3 students from class 7, with shock written all over their faces. This black fire, Sasuke seemed to want to say something, but he hesitated. He had read about the origin of this flame from the Uchiha clan's family letters. That is the pupil technique called Amaterasu, which can only be used by the supreme genius of the Uchiha clan. Who is this Zanyu? Are these all enemies? Have you defeated the enemies yet? Naruto said angrily, if I had known better, I wouldn't have left and would have fought with you. You're just holding me back. Sakura said angrily, Kakashi-sensei, are you not injured? Kakashi shook his head, pointed at Zanyu and said, let him solve it all by himself. Zanyu was stunned. Was Kakashi going to give himself away? When these children know how powerful they are, trouble will ensue. Yakura, you should carry Chiano on your back for a while first. Zanyu whispered. Yagura naturally had no objection and silently carried Chiano on his back. Kakashi on the side seemed to be trying to get something out of Yagura, but was ignored. Only one person can relieve his boredom by watching the lovemaking in heaven. Zanyu, can you teach me that black flame move you just made? Naruto said with bright eyes. Zanyu said helplessly, it's impossible for you to learn that move. As if they were afraid of the overwhelming strength that Zanyu had just displayed, Cardo's men did not continue to pursue the group. After returning to Dazuna's house, Kakashi also explained the situation to the 3 of them. In the next mission, according to intelligence, there will be enemies of Super S-class ninjas involved. As a result, our mission level has also risen to S level. With my own strength, I am afraid I cannot protect you. Naruto was stunned and asked, what should we do? We are not going to stop the mission, are we? The 3 children were a little dissatisfied when they heard that the mission had been stopped. After all, no one wants to return without success if they are full of enthusiasm. But Kakashi said, well, the mission should have been terminated originally, but I invited Zanyu-kun to help. Zanyu is the captain from now on, you must obey his orders. By the way, Zanyu is much more powerful than me. Zanyu smiled faintly, stepped forward and said, please give me more advice, everyone. Seeing Zanyu, who is the same age as themselves, as the captain, several people were a little surprised. Although the black flame Zanyu just showed was very strong, it wasn't more powerful than a Jonin, right? Seeing the dissatisfied expressions of several people, Zanyu just smiled flatly. It seems you still have some misunderstandings about my strength. Then let's test your strength. Yagura suddenly whispered. Lord Xuanyu, don't forget that they are just brats. Zanyu nodded and said, so I will be as merciful as possible. After hearing what Yagura and Zanyu said, everyone in the 7th class became angry. How dare you look down on me like this? Naruto said angrily. Interesting, don't capsize in the gutter. Sasuke sneered. Only Sakura was hesitant, but her pride still allowed her to accept the challenge. That's right, because you're not good enough yet. Zanyu smiled, stretched out 2 fingers to form a seal, the art of shadow clone. With a plop, Zanyu's shadow clone appeared. Haha, can you only create 1 shadow clone? Naruto laughed, I have created up to 2,000 clones. My shadow clone cannot use ninjutsu. Zanyu said, and Naruto, you should know very well that the shadow clone cannot withstand too big a blow and will disappear soon. Naruto nodded. So, as long as you can make my shadow clone disappear, even if I underestimated you before. Zanyu said. The 3 of them were startled and said, you look down on us too much. Let's go Yagura Kakashi, call us after dinner. Xuanyu yawned, picked up Chiano and went back to the room. Yagura sighed and said, in case they get hurt, I'd better stay. The 3 of them became even more angry after hearing Yagura's words. There must be a limit to mocking people, right? Before Zanyu returned to the room, bursts of wailing came from behind. Although the shadow clone will disappear as long as it is touched, it is not something that these 3 people can handle now. Shadow clones who master the 8-gate dungeon possess speeds that their naked eyes cannot detect, not even Sasuke's Sharingan. I knew it would be like this. Facing the 3 people who fell to the ground, Kakashi sighed. Then he clapped his hands and said, don't think you can defeat Zanyu. You should practice walking on trees with me. The 3 people now have not even learned to walk on trees, and are still in the rookie stage. Although it was a small blow to them, Zanyu didn't care much about this kind of thing. In the original novel, they were the protagonists, but not anymore. The current protagonist is Zanyu herself. After repairing in the room for a while, Zanyu asked Chiano to use the secret technique of Blood Dragon Eye to add some chakra to him. The multi-person Tsukuyomi just now consumed a lot of his chakra. But Chiano was still in a very low mood when she learned about the tragic death of her tribe members. Xuanyu touched Chiano's hair and said, don't worry, Cardo will disappear from this world soon. Chiano nodded. Now there were 3 white horizontal bars in her blood dragon eyes. In the original work, all the blood dragon eyes Zanyu had seen had only 1 horizontal bar. Now, there is no doubt that Chiano was too stimulated just now, which caused the blood dragon eye to evolve a lot. Just like the single Magatama and triple Magatama of the Sharingan, the blood dragon eye can also evolve, but it is not mentioned in the original work. Chino's blood dragon eye is now comparable to the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan in strength. If Chiano can further evolve, wouldn't it be higher than the upper limit of the Sharingan? Thinking of this, Zanyu said to Chiano, now that I have blood dragon eyes, you are the only one left. You must take good care of these eyes. Chiano curled her lips and said, but, I also want to fight. Zanyu smiled and said, the more frequently you use the pupil technique, the greater the damage to your eyes. If it is not necessary, it is better to leave the battle to me alone in the future. Chiano smiled and nodded in agreement. Soon, it was time for Dasna to build the bridge. Kakashi led Team 7 for personal protection, while Zanyu secretly followed a few people. Yagura was left at Tezuna's home by Genjutsu to prevent Cardo from sending people to attack Tezuna's family. The unfinished bridge is filled with sea fog. There is no need to use the Kurigakur jutsu at all, and the visibility here is not very high. However, Dasna's team is very professional and can carry out construction even in such bad weather. When everything seemed calm, there was a strange movement from the other side of the broken bridge. Kakashi said seriously, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, you 3, don't leave Dasuna even half a step. The 3 of them nodded and surrounded Dasna. Kakashi, on the other hand, slowly got into the thick fog. After learning the origin of the other party from Zanyu's mouth, Kakashi did not dare to neglect him at all. He opened his Sharingan directly in the thick fog and explored the surrounding situation. Suddenly, there was a plop from the front. It seems like something is coming out of the water. At that moment, the Sharingan saw the true face of that thing clearly. It's not a thing at all, but a ninjutsu. Water escape. Water dragon bullet technique. Kakashi quickly retreated, barely making any seals, and used the water formation wall. The water dragon bomb hit the water formation wall and was barely defended. The unexpected sneak attack made Kakashi immediately on guard. As expected of Konoha's #1 technician, Kakashi. A cold voice came, "I was very careful about the sneak attack, but you still managed to neutralize it." Two figures landed on the bridge, wearing dark robes of dawn with a little auspicious clouds. One person is silent and has a cold expression, while the other person is carrying a large knife wrapped in a bandage behind his back. Kakashi's eyes widened and he couldn't help but said, "Itachi Uchiha, Kisame Kazaki." He never expected that the helpers invited by Kado would be these two people. Uchiha Itachi, the rebellious ninja of Konoha, was his former junior. Kakashi never thought that he would be able to face him one day. "Kakashi, long time no see," Itachi said calmly. On the other side, Zanyu hid on the beach near the bridge, observing the situation on the bridge. At this time, a huge chakra reaction emanated from the side. Zanyu silently opened the Sharingan, and everything around him was under his control. The person who came was not an enemy, but Kakuzu, whom he sent to meet Kado first. Lord Zanyu. Kakuzu was in a panic, and he had lost 3 of his newly replenished hearts. It's no wonder that the heart he absorbed has no special abilities, so its strength is greatly reduced compared to before. "Is there any news?" Zanyu asked lightly. "Kado actually hired." Before Ango could say the man's name, another heart of his was pierced directly. "Ah!" Kakuzu wailed and fell to the ground. Seeing that more attacks were about to come, Zanyu flew up and kicked Kakuzu directly onto the bridge. "Come out and play with me." Zanyu sneered, "Have you asked me, the owner, for my opinion on beating my dog?" Deep in the forest, 2 giant-like figures walked out. Even Zanyu was a little shocked when she saw the person coming. A pair of twin brothers, with white hair and blonde hair respectively, and dark eyes. The scarlet-tailed beast chakra made waves on the sea surface. Ding! The system automatically releases a task. Defeat the Golden Horn and Silver Horn reincarnated in the Dirty Land, obtain a flame clone, 1,000 experience books, and 150,000 reputation points. Flame clone. This is quite interesting. After collecting so many escape techniques, it was finally time for fire escape. Golden Horn and Silver Horn, you have already died in the Second Ninja World War. Zanyu said coldly, "Who summoned you?" At this moment, the two of them had a kunai tied with runes stuck in the back of their heads. It was the safety switch used by the reincarnated spellcaster to control it. The Golden Horn and the Silver Horn have had their minds wiped away. Although their strength will be somewhat compromised, the chakra of the tailed beast cannot be underestimated. They were once swallowed into the body by the Kyuubi, and by eating the flesh of the Kyuubi, they obtained the Kyuubi's chakra. He also possesses many treasures and is definitely a super shadow level opponent. At this time, a sinister voice sounded behind Jin Zhao Yin Zhao. "I heard that the phantoms of the U organization are in this area, so I just wanted to come and say hello. I didn't expect that when we met, I was surprised that you were so young." The slender figure wearing a bamboo hat, pale complexion, and always with an evil smile on his face. This person is none other than Hokage's #1 scientist, Orochimaru. "Interesting, we have gathered all the celebrities today." Zanyu sneered. "I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."